Welcome back, everyone, to Anime Savants. This week, I am Trunks.
Damn. This week, I'm two people. I'm Oliver from Seven Spellblades and also Mexican Luffy.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh!
Is that a meme?
I mean, the actor. In
the fucking live action.
This Mexican Luffy, man.
I'm live action Arlong.
Oh, that's even worse. Okay, well, we clearly have thoughts on that. We'll touch on that later. Oh man. So okay, so this week we are doing just a mid-year recap of what we liked so far. So anything from like winter season, anything from spring season, and then we definitely will go through, we'll hit a little bit of summer and like what's standing out to each of us. And then, the news and everything else that comes between it. So, Joe's back. Y'all know who Joe is, but Joe, you can go ahead and plug yourself again if you want to.
What's up? Freshest anime. Find me on YouTube. It's so cringe. I don't know how to do that.
You can do it at the end. Whatever.
Go on YouTube. Just look up Freshest Anime. And then maybe an anime that you like. If it's there, cool. Maybe if it's not, try another one until you find one. Watch a video. If you like it, cool. Maybe subscribe. If you don't, then that's cool too.
Damn, you need to get your shill script together.
Yeah, I don't have one. I just like
the OG shill.
Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on TikTok.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
I think we're at 5,000 now. Pretty cool.
Yay. All right, so then let's go ahead and jump into it. So I guess we can hop around. I mean, everyone has their own little list. So we probably have some things that, swish swash and whatever. But yeah, I'll go ahead and drop my Eminence and Shadow. Was just a fucking pleasure to watch. All the way to the last episode with the 2v1 and just shitting on them. Just utterly shitting on them. I loved every moment of that show. It was the one thing I was not expecting to like that much. It was just, especially with the first episode that it had, because we talked about that first episode for a minute and we were like, I'm not really sure what the fuck they're doing. And then the second episode, it starts and you're like, okay, but what was going on with the first episode? And then it just starts. It just takes off, and you don't even give a fuck about the first episode anymore because it doesn't fucking matter. The homegirl that was with him or whatever.
Outrageous. It's just fucking outrageous.
I for the longest time through I would say through the first 8 episodes, I was like, oh, one of these girls is gonna be the girl from the first episode.
Oh.
I don't even know if that's gonna happen by now.
That was such a red herring. My God.
Yeah, for real. Threw me off, but it's really great. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare I have that experience where I'm looking at something and I can't be sure what exactly I'm seeing. Even the second episode didn't help. Like the second episode in some ways actually made it more confusing.
It was a generic isekai intro.
Well, you know what it was? It took me a while to decide it for myself whether Sid was actually just an insane person or that there was a layer after that. And I remember after episode 2, I was like, well, will I be disappointed one way or the other? Like, would I be mad if he's just a crazy, an actual psychopath and there's nothing else but delusion? Or would I be upset if it became more traditional? Like, I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as a dude. Like,
disguised as another dude.
Right. Like, it turns out he's actually a psychopath. And I think I like that better than the other outcome.
He is crazy, and I love him for it. Yeah. I'm so excited for the next part.
And he's enabled.
It's going to be great.
He's enabled by all those women to just do what he wants.
like sort of, but they actually, this is the other weird thing is that nobody in this series really has a lot of agency. Even Sid, because he's insane, is not really making a lot of choices. But on the other hand, he's making a lot of very specific, absurd choices. I remember, I don't think it was the second half of the season, but when he dressed up his room, yes! Yeah,
oh my God!
Come on, man, dude.
It was so meta. It was internally meta to what was going on.
I love it.
It was fucking great.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
He's great, man. He's weird. He's one of the most chuny. And I love that just no matter what he does, he's taken so seriously by the Shadow Garden. And nothing he's doing is serious. Not a single thing he does is like
no
serious. I don't know.
Not at all.
I love him.
You know what it is? It was scratching the itch of like Overlord, not in the sense of just like the over the top, like, you know, like internal cosplaying that is happening in both series, but it was just that what if you just said fuck it and turned everything up to 11 and just threw away all of like the introspection, right? Like in Overlord, it's been long enough where like these characters are so absurd that Ain's like that struggle of like, oh, am I trapped in this other world? Where are the other people? That is gone. He's just an actual like psychopath who's rationalizing like war crimes, like mass genocide because it's fun cosplay. But Sid essentially doing a lot similar things, but because he's into the bit, and it's not even like there's no other high-minded purpose here. It's just self-aggrandizement and pleasure seeking, and you know, and he was already. And I actually think that first episode helps a lot because now you have like a frame of reference where this guy was out of his mind before
he's been crazy from long before. Yeah.
So I actually appreciate more parts of that series more the more I watched of it rather than the other way around. So yeah,
I need to rewatch it.
I'm on board.
Yeah. I just wasn't expecting that ending. I just wasn't. There were so many highlights to all of the climaxes were entertaining as fuck. And then he just moved through it like it was nothing. Like it was just another fucking day in his life. He reminds me of like kind of like Kazuma from Konosuba.
Yeah.
But actually with power. Like he can actually do shit. So that's for me. What else do you all have?
Joe, what's up?
Handyman Saitou in Another World. I don't know if you guys
remember this one. Jordan, you like that one, right?
I love that one.
Absolutely loved it. It's so under the radar. I wanted to have one. I wanted to include something that was extremely under the radar that nobody talked about.
It really opened up after a certain point to the point where I was like, what the fuck? This is great.
Yeah. I think the first couple of episodes, it's kind of like, I think actually from the beginning, I liked it. But it took a little bit of maybe a few episodes for me to be like, oh wait, this is good. Like this is genuinely good. Yeah. I think it was the episode with the ninja and the witch.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the point that I was just like 100% in on it. I absolutely loved it. It's just such a good series. You get to
watching it. I stopped watching it. I didn't make it to the end of the season, but I got that. I actually get to edit those episodes. But God, I made it. Good. I made it to that climax, and I was like, "This is crazy!" And I think I also made it to the ninja and the witches stuff has to do with the old guy's history, also, right? Or something like that.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. They do that stuff too. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. It is a sleeper. It's really good. And it's also really the fact that the national measurement is based off of the first king's dick size.
Dick size, hell yeah!
Why do I remember you talking about that detail?
Yes,
that's like their like feet, essentially, like measuring in feet.
Yeah,
but also they're just like, it's like a half a king's dick.
And then there's also a what was it, like a mushroom dildo? It was a mushroom shaped.
It was like a mushroom. Dildo? No, I think it was. Yes, yeah, I think so. But I think that they called it. It was named after that, right? Named after the king's dick, or they said it was like the size of one of his dick or something like that.
No, that was a massive. Yeah, they did know the dick was big
or something.
Yeah. But I think the mushroom dick was there as like a deterrent because there was something important in the book or the box or whatever. But so the mushroom dick was there to throw people off. So you don't realize that until they reveal it a little bit later. But before that, it's just a gag about a mushroom that's shaped like a dick and balls. So like that.
Did you actually see it, or did you see it blurred out?
It was blurred out.
Yeah. Okay, same. Yeah.
It was blurred out.
They like blacked it out. But it was big. You could tell it was like fucking.
Yeah, you could tell what it was.
You're like, damn. They blacked out a lot here.
Yeah.
It was great, man.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I kept going because. First of all, the comedy was like they weren't trying too hard. They did a gag and they were like, we landed it. moving on. Like
it kind of
moving
almost
on.
had like a four coma sort of like vibe to it.
Yeah,
Because it was like each episode broke into like 6 or 7 little parts.
Yeah.
And it was just, they had a gag, then they move on to the next one. Some of them were a little bit longer where they dealt with something maybe a little more serious. Like, I don't know if you made it to the end of the arc you were talking about with the ninja and stuff, but they face off in like a dungeon.
Yeah. They're in a dungeon and all the groups come together.
Yeah, and I just love how each character gets fleshed out throughout. So it's not like you only are focused on the main group and then they're like, oh yeah, there's that one side character. Cool, no. But like they actually gave like stuff, like scenes, like they dedicated one of these little 4-coma-esque like moments to them specifically. So you followed like the hero's party for a little bit and you got to know the hero. You got to know the cleric and the girl that the hero was fucking. You got to know the 2 girls, like the elf and the other girl who licked the elf's armpit.
My God.
To know all of the... It's so silly.
I remember telling James about all of these things, and I'm just like, James, it's good though. It's really
I think
good.
You enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, James, I think it's something you'd enjoy. It's goofy.
The fact that homegirl wanted her to get hurt so that she could fucking heal her. And lick the blood. Okay.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's goofy, but
no vampire.
There was actually like very serious moments. Okay. Very like heartfelt moments.
And practical things. Like he was a handyman, so he was definitely bringing different technological things to them to help with dungeon exploring.
Or just like another thought process as well.
Another thought process. Like one of the girls wore like the heavy armor. So he would like add like cogs to it so that it could like adjust in specific ways depending on what monster they fought. And I'm like, okay, so this is also like practical, which is what I was thinking that it was going to be going into the show. But it just ended up being a lot of good, and it all worked well.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites of the year, and it's just so under the radar. Nobody's going to talk about it, but I had to bring it up because it was just, it was one of my favorites. I loved it.
Cool.
What about you, James?
Oh, there's so many things that we could talk about, but I think for me, I like to, when I do my own like self-review, it's like, what do I go back and check for, or what were the things that I had positive questions? And a big one for me was Giant Beast of Ours. I think we talked a lot about how the season was kind of like up and down until like the end, and then the last few episodes were both like absolutely insane, but it ended on this note where it's like, okay, there's a much bigger world that they've fleshed out a bit. I'm not saying I liked it because it was like, the greatest at anything, but there wasn't really a lot of like super original work that was also like thought through in a legitimate way that wasn't a sequel.
It was better than Fina.
Right. And I think Fina's problem was more that it was rushed, right? Like that was a big issue. I think ours had the same issue towards the back end of the story, where they did in like 3 or 4 episodes, but probably should have been like probably another core, or at least like six episodes. But like it really stuck out to me as a attempt at a fairly original work. The world building was actually very, very strong. And as someone who appreciates that more than maybe like flashy visuals, it stuck with me. Even when I was trying to come up with this list, I was like, what were the 3? Well, I'll talk about some of them later, but the 3 more original series that I could think of, ours was the one that had the strongest like world building. So if there's a couple others I'll talk about, including one that just wrapped up a season ago that I think are just all around much better productions, as well as being, well, one of them was a manga adaptation. So I don't know if that quite counts, but So ours really was
I didn't even think about originals at all. I don't think
because a lot of them are bad, and there's not a lot every season. That's the problem. It's there was a period of time, I think maybe like a couple of years ago, around the time when we were getting the podcast off the ground, where we would go and look at like the new offerings for the next season, and like I want to say 70% of them were like light novels. And I was just sort of like, oh God, please give me something original, please God. And we don't get very much. Same way with like mecha shows, you just don't get a lot of them. So you kind of, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel sometimes. But I have a fond spot for what Beast of Ours tried to do. Maybe if they'd have a little bit more time, I'd be
Yeah, I was turned off by the end though.
Well, that was stupid.
Yeah, I was just like, you literally opened this up and we're done, nigga. Like, we could have got this like at least 5 episodes ago, and I would have been like, okay.
There's a moment in the very end where they basically introduce you, the audience, to the fact that there's a much bigger world. Like they don't even go to the
dark continent.
Let me not even start.
Yeah, and there's like a central thing that you see all throughout the season with these like shepos, which are little clone kids with animals who sit on their heads, and halfway through you realize it might be the animals controlling the clones, and then one of them turns into a more adult female, and it's like, and then she's like, oh, the prophecy of this, and I'm like, wait, we got 3 minutes left in this episode, what are you talking about? And then it just ends.
What the fuck?
And then the homegirl was supposed to die.
Yeah,
the main character was supposed to die.
Wacky.
And she was supposed to heal. There were so many things. Okay,
wacky.
I do understand why. I do understand why you enjoyed it, though. I get it. But okay.
I haven't seen that many originals. The only original that I watched was I think almost this entire year. Oh, I watched Buddy Daddies, which was solid.
Oh,
but
okay.
Last season I watched Magical Destroyer, something like that, and it was terrible.
Yeah, there's like, you get a couple.
I got 6 episodes in, and I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Wait, Magical Destroyers? I thought that was a manga.
No, isn't it? Wasn't it original? If it wasn't original, that's even worse. Holy shit!
Whoa.
It wasn't no good.
No, I'm pretty sure it was an original, and it just wasn't. It just, I don't know, man. I think the first couple episodes, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm kind of, this is interesting, but then it was like very like, culturally relevant, you know. So I think maybe a lot of Japanese people liked it, but like as a non-Japanese person, there's no way I could just get into it.
Oh, it was an original. Okay.
Yeah.
Then why did I see? Oh, maybe they're making
watch originals, so it's cool like hearing you guys talk about
later. Okay. Interesting. Well, that sucks that it sucked then.
That's tough.
Lico Rico was good last year. That's about the only original recently that I watched. I don't know. That was a year ago, but
I wish we scraped at the bottom of the barrel. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know.
For me, another one that is this like my favorite? No, because there's some other good shit too. But I guess so far the year isn't over. But I fucking love Tomo-chan. That was like
I love Tomo-chan.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Wait, you watched Tomo-chan?
I watched the first like 4 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted to give flowers to.
Yeah, it's so good. Like coming from like comedic drama and romance like ways, like it does everything and it does it well, and it doesn't harp on anything too long. The characters are so well defined, and like you could see how they're growing through their inner monologues, and it ends. It's over.
Yep.
It has an ending?
Yeah, it's
pretty short.
Yeah,
it's a 1-season anime.
Yeah, I was shocked, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? That's okay. Like, I'll take it. It
felt like it was completed.
Because they definitely had the potential to do like, oh, we have all these side characters that we haven't expounded upon with their relationships, and this guy is still chasing after this girl that he's told that he likes, and she keeps turning him down, and blah, 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 blah. And so like, I was like, okay, well, there's got to be another season because them two are getting together. No. They were like, the main couple has ironed this shit out. Tomo-chan it's over. It's done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just loved it. As far as comedy-wise, it was amazing. And I think going back to the characters and just like being such well-defined and fleshed out characters, like Gundo she was like a mood for me, but then she also had her own insecurities that manifested in her, like not just like pulling away, but trying to like manipulate things even further when she realized her manipulation was the cause for so many problems in the first place. So I'm like, oh yeah, everybody growing. So she's not just I know everything that's going on and whatever, you two are goofy, it's gonna figure itself out. Like eventually it was like, no, like, say something, girl. You fucked up. And then when she does say something, you see the growth from other characters, or you see other characters who you would think they would respond in that way. You see them respond in a way where it's like, oh wow, actually that shows me a different side of you that I didn't think, or I wasn't clued into you being, capable of. But it also would make sense because of this skit and that skit and this thing and that thing. So overall, it was just perfect for me. Like, I love that. And I never heard about it before the anime. So, yeah.
Same. Literally same, yeah. And there's only one romantic comedy, one romance that I put above Tomo-chan this year. Only one. And it's the one that you guys didn't watch. Dangers in My Heart.
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
Amazing.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you were talking about that last
again.
time.
I'm going to gush about it again because that's on my list too. It's like back in 2021, 2022, whatever. When I was pushing, I was the guy going door to door, knocking on your door, trying to tell you about Ranking of Kings. And then that's what I was doing. That was my job. I was getting paid in.
Yeah, you told me about that on Twitter.
Nothing.
You were like, you should watch Ranking of Kings.
Ranking of Kings. I was pushing it, man. That was my duty. I was assigned a role of chief pusher. That's a drug dealer. For Ranking of Kings. I don't know, but it's the same sort of thing. I have to do that for Dangers in My Heart. It was a phenomenal series. The first couple episodes are really cringe. I found the cringe funny. I was able to see the cringe and laugh my ass off about it.
That's why I didn't watch it, because I read the synopsis and I was kind of just like, so he's going to have like void thoughts the entire time.
Only the two
people?
episodes. That's it.
Okay.
Only the first 2 episodes does he have this idea of like, he basically, he sits in his classroom. He's the awkward kid. He's the emo kid. He reads a book about murders and shit. He's weird. He's a weird ass fucking kid, right?
I don't know.
No,
yeah,
weird,
see?
right? No, 100%. No, don't get me wrong. He's super weird, but it's really funny and cringe. But like the cringe is still funny. And it's only the first 2 episodes that he does this shit where he's like, somebody says something or whatever that pisses him off. And he's like, ooh, I will imagine how I could kill you. And then there's this girl, the popular girl, the girl everybody loves. She's super beautiful. And to mask his own feelings that he might have for her, he also thinks the same thing for her. Like, oh, I would kill you. You're so popular and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and it's literally, it's cringe. No, don't get me wrong, but it's not even like a large part of it.
Look,
it's maybe.
I'm not mad that it's cringe. That's like 80% of this entire art form. It's cringe.
It's only like 10% maybe of each episode for the first 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. So like maybe talks about it like 2-3 times in the first 2 episodes each. And then episode 3, it just moves away from that. And it just goes all into the romance and a friendship blossoming between the two of them, him getting other friends, and just overall fucking amazing. Okay. It's so cute. I think it's like episode 8 or 9
so
that
maybe
is
like
just
similar to Horimiya, kind of.
I don't know if they really dive too much into Ichikawa's issues. He's really just insecure because he's short, he's weird, and you know, he's kind of emo looking. Like literally outside of school, whenever there's moments outside of school, he wears like a skull t-shirt, all black. He wears like a dark gray like sweater over. And like he's just cringe and it's funny. Like you can laugh at these moments and he is weird, but the way that he acts, the way that he thinks and everything, especially once you get past those first, and even with the weird moments in the first 2 episodes, it was hilarious. I was laughing my ass off constantly throughout the entire series. There were moments that I was like, I knew something really cringe was happening. I had to pause and I had to like literally walk around the room, come back. It would come back and it was just hilarious.
Okay.
Well, that's good. It seems like it passed what I call the Abbott test, which is if a show that claims to be a comedy can get 1 good laugh and 2 sensible chuckles, I'm on board.
Oh, it was that for every episode for me.
I named it after Abbott Elementary because like I was fronting on it, and then I was like, I'll just watch episode. And I got 1 good laugh, 2 sensible chuckles per episode. I'm like, I could buy that. That's good.
I only watched the first season of Abbott Elementary, but I also love that too.
Right.
That was good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, highly recommend. If you love romance, definitely watch Dangers in My Heart. And just know, if you can't stand those really cringe moments where he's all like, oh, murder, I'm going to murder people and stuff. It's really more of like I see it as like a kind of a cope. It's kind of coping at the fact that he's insecure and he's weird and nobody wants to be his friend because he's weird. And so he's like, oh, well, you don't want to be my friend. And this is what I think. It's only the first 2 episodes.
Into it, okay.
And then after those first 2 episodes, he does start to actually develop friendships and stuff. And there's just so many great moments. I think it's at the end of episode 3 that is just, it's just so good. So that's the one I had to talk about because you brought up Tomo, and Tomo is one that I was like, I got to give flowers to Tomo because when the year started, I was like, oh, I hope there's a good romance rom-com. And it was Tomo. Tomo was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I loved it. And so this is the only thing for me so far. I mean, aside from the Kaguya movie, but technically it came out last year and we just got it in English this year. So that's my way of coping with the fact that it's not.
It kind of counts. Like I'm not like there's so much. Right?
I have to cope. So it's not this year. It's last year. It's last year. I can't, Dangers in My Heart is the best because Kaguya doesn't count.
Yeah. So I guess for me it's another original. Again, there's so few. So usually you don't really have very much to go on, but I really, really like Revenger. This was the sort of it's a crime procedural masquerading as a action samurai story. It's sort of set around like one disgraced samurai who kind of gets tricked into killing his one of his masters, and so rather than get his revenge and then commit suicide, he's sort of brought into this odd jobs sort of group of highly skilled assassins who are also in the business of taking on people's revenge, like final revenge wishes for a little bit of money. One of the cute sort of twists is that they're actually operating on behalf of the Roman Catholic Church, but because it's set in a period in the Edo period where the Christian church is banned in Japan, a lot of the assassinations also kind of have like biblical references or motifs. But it kind of halfway through the season gets away from the more like, I won't say like random, but like individually procedural stories about like one individual revenge story and turns more into like a kind of a cultural critique, not just on that period in Japanese history, but also like the current history about essentially income inequality and other themes. But at the end of the day, the thing that kept me coming back was that the cast are all they're very different from each other. They are extreme variations on tropes you may have seen here and there, but are not necessarily seen a lot. So like you have this the main character is what I said, like a high powered samurai, let's put it that way. But then all around it you get all these cool gadgets, all these other characters who have
hot daddy with bow and arrow.
Bro. His reveal episode when he is pulling the bow back and it's like his clothes are ripping because he's so fucking ripped. Like they're falling apart around his body.
He's a doctor.
Yes, they do a lot of bait and switch where you think like it's gonna be a create 1v1 and then some other character from the team will show up and just do something absolutely disgusting. So there's a lot of good action despite the fact that it's not, it doesn't have a lot of big names behind it. The only thing I will say for folks who are maybe like on the fence, like, oh, should I spend any time checking this out? It is okay, the script was overseen by and some episodes were directly written by Gen Urobuchi. So if that means anything to you, if the Urobuchi are doing some anime shit,
well, I mean, that first episode with a certain lady.
Well, yeah.
What a way to end it.
Yep. I mean, that when you get to see our good friend with the bow go off, that he's not shooting an arrow, he's shooting a fucking spear out of a bow.
Oh my god,
that shit is fucking sick.
Okay,
damn. And again, there's not a lot of original stuff. Revenger is an original series. There is a manga that has just started that's supposed to cover, but it kind of came out of nowhere for me. I needed some like samurai shit, and I will tell you right now, I've taken a look at the current Kenshin. It's exactly what I thought it would be. I'll pick that up when they get past the beginning arc because I hate it. It's one of those boring things.
Oh, is the beginning arc not as good for Kenshin?
I mean, it was always bad. I never liked it in the original either.
Because I'm watching it and I'm like, I don't know. People love Kenshin. Like, what is So it's supposed to pick up. Okay.
Aside, have you only seen or heard of Kenshin and like the original? And did you have any interaction with the manga or the Samurai X OVA?
I have not watched any Kenshin until this new Kenshin. I was only aware of a samurai with a X on his face. That's it.
So I have a fond place in my heart for the original, but having watched the original series multiple times, like over my lifetime, the first arc, frankly, maybe even the first couple of arcs are not great. I think that it's hard to figure out when you first start watching it. Is this supposed to be fun or is this supposed to be serious? And it doesn't become clear until a little bit after the first arc, which is unfortunate for new watchers who might have grown up hearing about like, oh, this godly series, everyone loved Kenshin. But then you get into it and it's like, okay, Kenshin's kind of a goofball. Don't know if he's cool. Kaoru is a moron and annoying. And some of the supporting cast, why are they here? But when you get around to like their villains, Shishio is fucking amazing, and his arc is wonderful. And a lot of these other iconic villains that are sort of in the series that are, I would call them like tweeners, because they all have a motivation that you could cast them as maybe less villainous. I think it's a good series, but I would actually say the best introduction to Kenshin is the Samurai X OVA, which is produced by a completely different studio. I think it's Madhouse is behind it. I think it was Madhouse. I don't fully remember.
Ooh.
But
is it old?
If you watch that and then you watch like the either adaptation of Kenshin like animated, you'll be like, bro, you should have paid them to just keep doing it because that other shit was fucking sick. This it's what I thought it was, but I'm waiting for the Shishio stuff to kick off because that's like my favorite part of the series. But anyway, Revenger, short, sweet, and very, very cool. A lot of variety, and they take advantage of the fact that because it's taking place in like that black ship era of like Japan getting reopened and whatever, you actually get a variety of characters from other places of the world coming in, and it sort of makes sense. So it's a lot of like variety. So I'm a big proponent of, if you've been missing some like samurai shit, go check out Revenger.
Awesome. That's another anime I didn't watch, by the way. That's crazy.
There we go.
2 for 2.
Yeah. So many. Then my next one would be Bofuri season 2.
I was wondering when you were going to say that one.
Fuck yeah. Because it's insane how good it is. It's the perfect mixture of slice of life and MMO action. And it's not isekai, like we're trapped and oh no, blah, blah, blah. It's literally her just putting all of her fucking shit into defense. And the game developers being like, bitch, we can't keep up. Like, we're literally making like piercing damage a thing in the game because you've made us, because you're too overpowered. They're making monsters that no one else can beat because they're trying to make shit that she can't beat. And then she still beats it because in adventuring with her makes the guildmates powerful because she's getting all this crazy OP shit. And she's like, I don't want to use that. You can use that. I don't want to use that. You can use that. Like, it's just so funny, slice of life fun, good. And the action, now I will say in this second season, they did use a lot more CG. But you know, budget is a budget. They gotta do what they gotta do. But the action scenes where they animated it, they went all in on them. Like, they went all in. It's so good. Sally, she's literally like the definition of a rogue in like MMOs or like game stuff like that. Every time Sally fights, it's fucking crazy because they're literally like moving the screen along with her speed. She's like moving at the speed of light, fucking shit up. And then Maple's just sitting there like tanking shit hardcore, and they send like crazy monsters against these girls and they just annihilate the shit. And then you have all the other party members getting things, and then you have the guild competition, and then you also have the ever evolving MMO world where they go on different floors, and on different floors there's a new gimmick for the entirety of the game. There's a new aesthetic. There's a new event and everything. So it's just cozy. It's a cozy watch that gets fucking lit sometimes. And I love it. They kept the exact same mood as the first season. And that's all I really asked for. It's good. But yeah, I was gonna say Bofuri for sure. Like it's just it's good. It's just good. I feel like that would be something I would recommend to someone who's probably new to anime because it's not that hard to get into. And also it's based off of her getting into video games for the first time. So it's also like someone else trying out something new and being like, oh, this actually is kind of fun. Oh, I actually kind of enjoy this shit. Okay, cool.
And I have no issue with this series whatsoever, but it just made me think about like I read so many like manga and manhwa that are like game based series, and one of the things that is always an irritation. Now here it's played for comedy, but like what always irritates me is that if I look at the actual design of the games these players are in, they make no sense. They are the worst. It's always itself. The gimmick I always say is like, oh, we let an AI make this game, so that's why we the developers don't know what's going on. I'm like, you don't need that excuse. Game developers already don't know what's going on. They actually do make their own games.
Diablo.
Right, exactly.
Oh, is the new Diablo bad?
They gutted that shit.
It's incomplete. Let's just put it that way.
They gutted that shit in real time, and then they made an apology stream.
Very incomplete game. Maybe they should have let an AI do it, but actually, given what we're dealing with, all this like AI developed art as it is, I don't know if we really want to go down that road.
Listen, they're striking for reasons. Facts. Yeah. But yeah, I can see that being like a lot of shows use the MMO skill system point system as like the basis. I mean, hell, whatchamacallit? Fucking cheat skill and things of that nature. Like everyone uses a similar. I like them when they are done well and they make sense. And I like Bofuri's because when they do give her powers, yes, some of them are completely like stupid, but there are also ones that have like very clear-cut weaknesses due to their like overpoweredness. So they have, it's a double-edged sword. So I enjoy things like that. And it's very straightforward about stats from the very beginning. And they make the stats like affect real-time things. So because she put everything into fucking defense, she walks so fucking slow because she doesn't have any speed stat. So it's like, okay, like you're doing the base bone bare minimum, but you're not making it completely convoluted. Like like Isekai cheat skill, where he just opens a screen and it's just skill. The only show that I actually did not mind that on was, oh my god, Moonlit Fantasy.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought was. I didn't mind it on Kumodesu. I liked it on that.
Oh man, listen. She can do whatever she wanted. I was like, I love this show, so I feel Kumodesu so bad.
But
also
Tsukimichi. I love Tsukimichi.
Yeah, Tsukimichi. Like, yeah, he just had so much shit, but I didn't care because I was like, this is funny. James actually was the one who was like, you need to watch this shit. Like, it's actually good.
Because I got laughs. Like, I was not like, I was not into it for laughs, and I started getting laughs. I'm like, hold on, some of these are pretty legit. Like the setup and when
they destroyed that fucking town, I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous.
It is quite funny. I have
Season 2 next year.
Tumultuous history with sort of gamified power systems in general, because I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, you can't do bullshit for the purpose of moving a story along, and a lot of these systems are full of bullshit, or at least things that become irrelevant very quickly. What I've noticed is that when such devices are used as a part of storytelling, they only have like two things that they're trying to communicate to an audience. First is like a moment of impressive power, where it's like, aha, I too am the strongest man in the universe. It's like that feeling that you want to communicate through seeing a screen full of bullshit that doesn't matter, right? But on the other hand, it can also be used to, instead of having a bunch of people narrate what's going on or having your character deliver an inner monologue, like it's kind of a lazy way to just info dump some relevant information. The problem is like it always gets out of hand, and it's very rarely tied to telling a story or telling a good story. There are times I think it's used quite well. One of the ones I like the most is not an anime, but it's the manhwa Omniscient Reader, which is the same writer from Solo Leveling, which I think he learned a lot of lessons about how to make.
Wait, it's the same writer for Solo Leveling?
Writer, yeah. Yep.
I did not know that.
That's why it was hype.
You're talking about Omniscient
That's why everyone told me to. Yeah, okay. That's why everyone told me to read it. Then okay, I did not know that.
Did you finish Solo Leveling, Joe?
I know that they started up a new part. I didn't read the new part, but I watched.
There's a new part.
It's just side story stuff. It's not.
Yeah, I read the 172 chapters. Yeah, I read all that.
I didn't read it because I know the anime's coming now, so I'm like, I'll fucking wait.
Oh yeah, don't. It'll be awesome.
Yeah,
I read like 50-ish chapters of Omniscient Reader, but I loved it. I just stopped reading it because it was something I was doing on
Right, and they use that system more as a to augment the characterization of the main character, and it gets very meta. So that is why it is a more useful device for storytelling here. But a lot of like manga, anime, isekai stuff that want to take advantage of that. I'm even thinking of like Don Machi to some degree. Where they use like the back tattoo as like an indication of a lot of information, and when they want to communicate it, it's kind of like, you know, it's the same idea. It's just that it's true of everything. Once you start adding too many details, any new individual detail matters less than the ones that came before it, because it's just a pile of stuff. So stats, you know, oh, I have a 1 in speed. Well, if you have 999, what is the next one to get you to 1,000? Right? It doesn't really communicate anything important to a reader. So like very quickly you notice that the good stories that use that often abandon making use of like game systems to describe anything. But anyway, that's just my diatribe about that device in storytelling. Where are we at right now?
I have.
Oh, is Joe?
I have like one or two more, but yeah, it's you go, Joe.
Bungo Stray Dogs.
You and Jordan.
Boy! Oh
you and
boy!
Jordan.
Oh,
is that one you want to talk about too?
That's you and Jordan. That's all y'all.
He has been trying so hard. He's been trying so hard.
Well, he can't watch it. You don't like it?
All right.
Let him know, James.
I don't hate it. No. Okay. Let me.
He doesn't hate it.
I don't hate it.
How far did you get?
Technically, I finished season 2, but realistically, I watched all of season 1, the first 3 episodes of season 2, and then like the last episode of season 2, because you can't convince me to care about the Seaport Mafia people. Like, it's just the Port Mafia. You can't convince me that I'm supposed to care about these characters.
It's just they're just so important for later on. But
I know everyone fucking says this.
Okay, are you gonna watch the movie? Are you gonna try to watch the movie?
Don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie. Don't watch the movie.
The movie is canon.
The movie's the movie's trash. You don't need to watch that shit. Fuck the movie. Oh fuck. Actually.
See?
You have to watch the movie.
Like
you kind of have to, only because like
One Piece
of what's his name.
Filler, so you got to watch this one.
Well, I only made it like 2 or 3 episodes into season 3 because I was confused, and I was like, "Is this a flashback?" And then some people were like, "Yeah, it's a flashback," and I was like, "I'll come back to this shit when they get back to the regular character."
That's how all of the seasons seem to be going. It's always like a flashback to start. I might still literally to this point, my favorite episodes of the entire show. The entire show, we're on season 5, is the first 4 episodes of season 2. Because those first 4 episodes of season 2 were amazing. You don't like them, James?
I thought they were interesting, but I had this problem because it's deeper than what I just described. So my problem with Bungo Stray Dogs goes back years, because when season 1 came out, I was like, "Ooh, I kind of like what I was seeing in all the promo art with like the tiger and like people saying, oh, this is good animation." And then I tried to watch season 1 when it came out, and I had the exact same problem, which is I watched the first 3 episodes and then it wasn't that I hated it. It was like I just couldn't convince myself to watch anymore because I didn't necessarily care about what the show wanted me to care about. And every time I had tried to rewatch it, I'd like forgotten what happened in the first few episodes. I'm like, oh right, I see like some Saga clip on Sakagaboro or something. I'm like, all right, this is the time. And I would get to like season 3 or episode 3. I'm like, fuck. So this year, I said, I'm really going to stop fucking around. I watched all of season 1, all of it. I did not hate it at all. In fact, I think the last 3 episodes of season 1 were my favorite things that I had seen. And then I went right to season 2, and it happened again. So I just was like, there's something about this series is not grabbing me, and I don't know what it is yet. So
that's crazy. I thought that I might low key be like romanticizing the first 4 episodes of season 2 a little bit. I don't know. I would have to go back and like. I'm not saying they're bad. Season 4 and 5.
The whole thing is, I've never said that I think the show sucks. I know what ass tastes like in this. I know, and it's anyway. We're not going back there. But I know what bad is. This is not bad. It's because the ensemble cast of the main the detective agency are interesting and funny, and they have a lot of like I think natural rapport with each other. So I kind of like the stories about them, but the setting, especially the drama around the Port Mafia, just doesn't do anything for me.
I'm not gonna lie, because the main person they push in the Port Mafia is Akutagawa,
right?
And he's just he's the most surface level character. I don't feel like there's a ton of depth to him. So I don't really love him. I don't really love a lot of the Port Mafia people either. I get that. There are a couple that are pretty important and everything. Actually, they're all like pretty important because of their ties to our detective agency. But right. I mean, I get why you would be less interested in them. I think that each season gets better and better and better and better and better.
I'm sure.
Yeah. The only reason I mentioned romanticizing the first 4 episodes is because I said that it's literally the best episodes of all 5 seasons. And it's like, maybe it isn't. And I'm putting it on a pedestal, and I have to revisit it.
Hate on it because I actually think it's a good show. I'm just saying my personal struggle to get into it is probably based on expectations that were never, offered by the show or its fans. It's things that I put onto it, and I want to put over. I think that the last 3 episodes of season 1, where you start to get a taste of like what the outside world is like, and you're dealing with like the head of the Port Mafia in disguise, and that girl who had like a really cool, almost like Nen like power with like all that stuff is hype for the stuff I like to see. It was just like the you know what it was? It's that episode in season 1 where like the Port Mafia attacks the headquarters for the first time in the series, and they just get like laid out like goofs. And I think at that point, I'm like, well, I don't take these people fucking seriously. So then having it come back and then no, they're super important and so moody. I was like, it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
Tell me about season 5 or what you saw, or season 4, I guess.
Yeah, really, season 4, I think was the best season. I think season 5 is just like adding on to it. But season 4, I think, was the best season. Like I said, each season just gets better and better. Season 4, man, they added in some really intriguing elements, and it's kind of like the group that is so good, they're the good guys, right? Then it's all flipped, and then the world sees them as. Did you watch season 4?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so basically season 4, that's like, oh no, actually, well, there's this thing that makes everyone think that the good guys are the bad guys. And so now they're kind of on the run from everyone. And they're getting helped more or less by the Port Mafia. And some of their ties, like in the police and stuff, like they have some connections and stuff. But like for the most part, the police and like this new group introduced that is.
I saw a lot of promo about the new group, stuff like that.
Yeah. They're like super powerful, and they're kicking ass, and they're trying to get our group. And then of course there's a lot of Rompo, like literally season 4 starts with a Rompo flashback. So it's Rompo and the head of the detective agency with the sword. I don't remember his name, but it's a flashback for them and like how they met and like their first mystery or like thing to solve, case, their first case to solve, right? And then the rest of the season it deals with, it kind of adds on to, was Fyodor in season 3? No, that's a season 4 guy. So it introduces a whole bunch of new people, and like they're basically on the run from these new people, and it's just really good. And then season 5, like literally once you've gotten through the first 4 seasons, everything that's happening in season 5, there's only been 2 episodes. It's just so like hype. Every moment is like, this is so amazing. This is so cool. I love it because of everything that we've been through, everything that's going on. And like somebody does something and you're like, this is fucking awesome. Oh my God, that just happened. This is so cool. And it is, I don't know, man. It's just so great. And I could gush forever about it. And I didn't think I would love it. I think one of the things that's hardest for me to get into for it is like, it's very like novel centric. So like these authors and novels and their powers are novels and it's all like based off of like literature. It's all literature centric. And so it's like, you know, I don't know if I'm really going to like this. Sure, they have superpowers. And for me, honestly, season 1, I didn't love it. And it wasn't until I got into season 2, I watched those 4 episodes to round out that arc for Oda. And that was really cool. And then they finish off season 2 and like literally the rest of season 2, I'm like, I don't love this as much as the first 4 episodes. And then season 3, and I'm like, oh shit, this is better than the last one. And then we get through that. And then season 4, same thing. And I get what you're saying about watching the movie. Like you kind of do have to, because that's where you see Chuya go off. And it is kind of necessary watching
the fight on top of the ship, right? Is it the fight when they do like the tag team on top of the ship?
Oh, I mean that's really cool too. But I think they kind of did that in season 3. No,
I didn't finish season 3.
Oh yeah,
did they retell the movie?
Ends.
Did they retell the movie in season 3?
The movie is kind of just a lot of the season 3. That's why I was like, I don't care about it.
Oh, what the fuck?
But it had some crazy Sakuga, and it did have like a big Chuya fight, which is awesome because Chuya's ability is gravity, and it's fucking sick. It's gravity.
He's
like anyone with a
Chuya.
gravity ability is just so cool. So yeah, Bungo Stray Dogs. That's one of the ones I had to talk about. I love the new season as well, and I'm watching it, and I like it.
I will catch up. I don't know about James.
I will continue to try.
He's gonna try.
I don't.
It's crazy that you watched Revenger and you watched the Great Snow. I don't know.
Yeah, I like those kinds of stuff.
Kaina? Wait, you didn't like Kaina?
I didn't watch Kaina, but
okay.
I didn't even like attempt to watch Revenger, or I didn't attempt to watch Kaina either. It's just like, damn, dude.
It's just something about like the. Okay, you know what it is also, like when I do my procedurals, I like a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like something like jazzier. You know, I enjoyed High Card, and High Card is more or less doing exactly what Bungo Stray Dogs is doing, right? Like it's got some goofy stuff. It's also got some absolutely brutal shit. Like people having their necks twisted 80 times in reverse and bodies exploded, crushed by like it's shot in the face. Like it's a very when it comes to the violence, it's very much real, a little more realistic, over the top. But like the soundtrack is very like moody jazz music, and it's bouncy, it's fun. There's a lot of like comedy, so I don't dislike that format. I think it was just the asking me to care about characters I don't want to care about yet is always something that makes me like, I'll get back to it. It's no fault of the show. It's nothing wrong with it. Again, I know what trash is. Trash is a regular at a magic high school. That's garbage, okay? Fucking garbage. Everything about that is good. The most infuriating
always will be.
Garbage. Oh my god, everything. But this is not that. It's a good show. The problem is me. So I think another one I want to bring up that will tie into, I think, our question at the end of the episode is Trigun Stampede.
I like that, yeah.
I was such a Trigun fan growing up. I'm old enough to remember hunting down like the VHS tapes, and I had to watch the series out of order because it was so hard to find like exactly 2 episodes here, another 2 episodes there. So I wound up seeing like the first 4 and then the end of the last 4 episodes of the series before I found the middle. And this is like the era of like downloading grady ass real video clips and episodes that are like 180p or whatever, God. 120p. Like it was a horrible way to live. We never go back. But when it started airing, I think it aired on Toonami for a little bit, right, or on Cartoon Network. And
Yeah.
I finally got to see it, the original back then, and man, did I really love everything they were doing. I thought that the movie also was fantastic, and it came out, obviously in a more modern era, but it was like hand animated. It was great. And then I wound up reading the Trigun manga, particularly Trigun Maximum, and like my mind was blown because I didn't realize how much stuff had been changed between the manga and the TV adaptation, including the ending, which is different because I didn't know Trigun got fucking canceled. Nobody told me about that shit. Like the manga actually ends on a cliffhanger where I'm not gonna like spoil the details, but it reminds you that in the very first beginning of Trigun, they tell you that this is just like a colony. There's like a whole universe of stuff out there, and so they start to get into that at the end of Trigun Maximum, and then it ends. So
is there a sequel to it?
No. there is
not.
not.
God.
Part of it is because the original Trigun manga was actually not that popular in Japan. It was much more popular overseas. And so that is what got the movie greenlit. And then ultimately, I think that's what, obviously the anime market has changed in 20 years, but that's what got, the new series also greenlit. And Trigun Stampede from episode 1 is like a mishmash of concepts that were in Trigun and Trigun Maximum, but some of them are time shifted for mostly forward, i.e., like characters and events take place a lot earlier on in the timeline. Because when you get to, if you ever watch the original anime, it kind of all starts after the destruction of July, which is this great event that you never actually see except in a flashback to
what's July? Which one
July
was July?
is like a city. It's like a capital city on this planet. But it's always.
Do we see anything about that in Stampede or no?
They always refer to it in Stampede as a place that they're trying to get to, and then the season kind of ends with
that's
that.
Why I recognize the name of July. I think we see it on the map a lot.
Yeah, and then I don't want to give anything away for folks who have not necessarily seen all of Stampede, but the end of Stampede takes place in the city of July. But there's also a lot of like for example, Vash meets Wolfwood like when they're both young or many years earlier in this series than he does in the anime, right? And so there's other characters that he runs into, like a lot of the Gung Ho Guns and Knives' group, their interactions happen earlier or in different places. There's a tease at the end of the final episode, which is literally a scene from the very end of Trigun Maximum, but now they're making it happen like very early in the story. So it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? Because that was a plot thread that never got closed in the manga. And overall, like the production, I remember Jordan and I talked going into the season. I don't think, Jordan, you wound up watching it, but like from the trailer, that for the first time in a long time, I felt like a production studio had figured out a way to use CGI, not just to do a good facsimile of a mostly 2D production, but actually create something like a visual style that felt like anime. It really did. But when you stare at it, it doesn't necessarily look like anime. And they do things with like the camera and the directing that finally, again, it felt like a Japanese studio growing up and realizing that you can achieve a lot of the same like feelings, emotions, aesthetic qualities, but do things with a camera that's 3D that you could never really do, or be very, very difficult to do with like a hand-drawn thing, and have it feel really, really good. Like the way the characters move is very loose. It's very it's like athletic in some ways, and in other ways like just a little bit surreal, which is fantastic because there's all kinds of scenes in Stampede where you can actually follow all of the visual action that's happening, and then if they need to like slow everything down and really make you appreciate a scene, the scene is actually worth appreciating. Even by like the second episode, there's a shot of Vash doing like a essentially like shooting a bullet and making it ricochet into a whole bunch of things that again, I don't want to give away, but like save the town. And it's such a fantastic scene. And it's followed right after that by mass murder. And it really gets over like the fun, the quirkiness, but also the brutality and like the desperation I felt like that world was always supposed to have. But if you just watch the anime, you only get it in like little drips and drabs here and there, mostly in Vash's flashback. And the other thing is that it feels a lot more like a science fiction story, which is what Trigun really always was. But because they start this season off in space, in the flashback, with Vash and Knives on the plant ship, the disaster that happens that gets everybody put onto the planet in the first place, like that happens in the anime, but it happens like halfway through, so you don't even realize what kind of world you're on when you watch the original. It just feels like, oh, it's a desert planet, like something about a bounty, like it's not really clear what's going on. Whereas like right away they establish who is the protagonist, who is the antagonist, what is the motivation, why is Vash hiding out, why does he have the beliefs that he has, because they go over like his relationship with oh my god, I don't remember, forgetting her name, but the one scientist who
the
was
mother
awake.
lady.
Yeah, and also you see what happened to Knives being experimented on as a plant, and that's not a reveal that they save until like the latter half of the series, which is what the original anime did. They give it to you right away, right in the beginning, so you understand the dynamics and why it is so impressive that Vash is really a non-violent character in a world full of people desperately trying to kill him or get him to murder other people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that.
So
and
Stampede's like a reimagining?
Pretty much,
Trigun?
yeah. The Naito basically said that you can look at Stampede as another story or another interpretation of the Trigun story. And I was a little like, worried, because you never know what you're going to get when you hear statements like that. But I think that actually this is probably the place to start if you are interested in the franchise, because it's so much clearer about what it is, and all the humor is still there, and it looks unique. It doesn't look like anything else that got produced in the last couple of years. And I would just say give it a shot if you're like very anti, fully animated, like computer animated anime. Give this one a shot. I guarantee you will notice from like the first 5 minutes it just feels different. And also they've added some new characters that really help out in telling the story and keeping things like moving very smoothly. Roberto, who's like now Millie's partner for the first half, instead not Millie, Millie's not in.
Meryl Streep.
What's her name? What am I forgetting?
Meryl Streep. I forgot.
Meryl, yeah, Meryl. Millie is promised
like
to come in season 2, or the second core, whatever you want to call it. But Meryl and Roberto, it's a great dynamic because you're getting Meryl when she's much younger, and Roberto kind of knows a lot about the world and about Vash, but he's he's just a good character to be a straight man to bounce off a lot of stuff. Whereas like you ever watch the original Trigun, Millie is kind of the straight character, but she's also a fucking dummy. So it's like all the exposition comes from enemies of Vash. It doesn't come from like people who would just sit down and say, here's what the fuck is going on. So that's a long-winded way of saying I really think it's a good starting point for folks who never really got into Trigun. And the
reason it looks so good is because it's done by probably the best like computer animating studio in Japan, Orange. They also did Beastars, Land of the Lustrous.
Right.
They're just
I never saw Land of the
literally...
Lustrous. I saw Beastars.
Huh?
I never saw Land of the Lustrous. I didn't
either, but I hear that it's great. And it's just they're just levels above anyone else that does anything. They're just because again, just like you mentioned, it looks like anime.
Yeah.
Even though it's CG, and you can tell that it's CG, like, sure, that's fine. But you can also tell that it's anime. Like, it feels like anime. It doesn't feel like the weirdness that you get with CG. CG often just feels so out of place. Like, I'm trying to watch an anime, and this just doesn't feel right. But Orange, they make anime. It's anime.
Yeah,
so,
they're not trying to hide it. That's the
it
thing. They are living in that medium, and it looks great, and it's well directed. I cannot stress enough. Like, I'm a sucker for good direction, and this has it. This to me is the best directed TV anime that I have seen all year. The choices are just outstanding. So, yeah, I'm with it. Jordan, what you got? Anything else?
Heavenly Delusion.
I was gonna bring that up. Great, happy you got to that.
Yeah, Heavenly Delusion, hands down. I fucking loved that shit, and
It's really good.
It only got better and better and better, and the world. I have to say they did a really good job with like drip feeding us the world building, and always making me want more, and never making me be like, okay, wait, this is convoluted and this is confusing and this is that and blah, 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 blah. Now, I did need a lot of people's help putting things together because I think it's a show that you need to rewatch as you watch it.
Yeah,
Because I was forgetting things as I went through it. And there are people who were in my comment sections and they were like, oh, but remember this and this and that and that. And I'm like, oh, shit, you're right. Oh my God. Yo, that's fucking crazy. So I definitely needed a little bit of help because I wasn't rewatching it. I was like, I got too much other shit to do. I was like, I watched the episode. It was good. I enjoyed it. The mystery's getting crazier and the world is getting bigger. We're getting closer to things and we're getting further away from other things. And I'm all in for it. And then you also have, I thought it was so interesting, the fact that like, the main character is a play on a trans person. Like, I was not expecting that whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that was a turn off for a lot of people, but just the dynamics that it brought to the story in and of itself, all the way up to the climax at the fucking end of the season with the mentor figure, it was just it was crazy. It was crazy, but it was so good the entire time. And I think one thing that I love about certain shows is that if you still have my engagement through silence, then like I'm dialed the fuck in. And this show had so much silence and first of all, the direction, the art direction, and also just like the camera angles and things of that nature. Like the episode with the child and the ice child and shit like that. That episode was so good on like every fucking level. I was like, why is this? It's so good. Like, it's not just the story is good. I feel like I'm watching a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching a movie right now because everything was amazing. And that was one where I had to rewind because there were so many analogies and stuff just like littered throughout the whole thing about like the child being the thing and like what actually happened to the women and like the father's like actions at the end and like how they I was just like, it blew my fucking mind. That episode was amazing.
That episode was what the
Oh my God.
That shit was fucking crazy.
My God.
It was crazy.
That shit was fucking crazy.
But it's things like that where I'm like, this is cinema. This is anime. This is what I'm talking about, bitch. Like, I loved every single episode of the show. And I screamed when oh my God, like the revelations about like the man-eaters and the students, like everyone was like thinking it, but the way they just like slyly just started mentioning it near the end. And I'm like, what did she just call them? Wait, what? Wait a second. What's going on? I never trusted the AI. Duh.
Nor should you.
Never trust the AI. From the moment I saw the AI, but
yeah, from the moment I saw the actual figure of her, I was like,
yeah,
nah, bro,
yeah,
that's weird. Yeah.
But also, even the whole thing with Tokyo in the end and the baby, I'm just like, bro, look, what the fuck is all this shit? Like, they're two babies. What two babies going? Okay, anyways,
really good.
But I think the thing that fucked me up the most, it was a really heartfelt episode about the girl who was like hooked up to all, which technically we know who the girl is and the guy is. But that was heartbreaking, especially when we find out who they are. It's like, oh my God. But it's one of those things which we were talking about this before we started. Which we know who they are, we know how they end, but how did they get there? And so that's what I want to see. I want to see, how did they get from this tween age to the adult age into the situation that they're in right now.
And where's everybody else?
Where's everybody else? And what did they find out? What did they know? Et cetera, et cetera. But I just have to say, I screamed my fucking ears out on the episode where they were in the car garage.
Where you thought that...
and the little ones were just like biting pieces of her fucking body off.
I was like, nah.
Listen, but as far as the show
went,
like
episode 12, no way.
In the show.
If it was episode 12, I would have been like, there's no, she's dead. She's dead. But because it's middle of the season, I was like, no. Something's going to happen.
But
There's no way this is going to happen.
The show was already moving in a way where I was like, are they going to kill a main character?
They would have pulled some Game of Thrones shit
on this. Are they going to kill a main character? I wouldn't put it past them.
I actually, Jordan, you probably like saw it before I did. Like I watched it like right before we talked about it. So I was just like, oh.
But yeah, Heavenly Delusion, I was interested in it just based off of like, the premise synopsis. But from the moment I started watching it, I was like, yeah, this is good shit. Even that OP is just fucking gorgeous.
Oh yeah, great.
Like,
Loved it.
God, it's so good. Everything about the show is just so fucking phenomenal. They did a really amazing job. But I mean, it's production IG. So yeah, we'll see. But that was my other one. I mean, I have two more that are generic. Everybody probably knows about. But,
I mean, sure, we got it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll wait and see what else you guys have.
I don't want to one thing that I don't know if you guys are, if we want to talk about it, because it's probably, I mean, it's in my opinion, anime of the year, and I don't even think that Jujutsu Kaisen is going to top it. It's just. I mean, it probably will top it just because, let's be real, popular shonen always going to win the best. But Vinland Saga is absolutely amazing.
You're not going to get an argument
masterpiece.
I'm just going to say the internet's not going to agree with you, but good luck.
I don't care. Yeah. The internet is a fickle place, so I don't care.
It's just fanboys.
They look at something. They're like, no, action, boom, boom, wow, pew, pew, pew. So amazing.
That's literally the only criticism I've seen about the season.
The only one. There's literally nobody's ever. The only time anybody says they say it's boring, and they say it's trash because there's no action. Like that's literally it. And I don't care because. Action's cool and all, but I mean, Hell's Paradise was literally just fucking nonstop action, deaths all over the place, and it doesn't even fucking sniff the dirty fungus underneath Thorfinn's feet. Like
Vinland Saga is a real story about real heroism, real ideas, the concept of like absolution. And what it actually means to make amends for something and try to build something new. That's what Vinland Saga is about. That's too much for these people.
Yeah. And so they don't have the range.
I don't know if we even want to like talk about it. I think that it's enough to just say how amazing and incredible the story is, the development of characters, the growth, and also just going through the motions of actually like healing and becoming better. Like we talk about character growth and like growth of
those people don't want to heal. So why would they watch that?
Revenge,
it's triggering
everything.
Trigger.
We just talk about like so often we're like, oh yeah, character development, and like most of the time character development is like
a
2
new
episodes.
power.
Like it's nothing like really deeply rooted in the actual character. Like you see him fucking heal and come to terms with what he once was and then become something new, and not in like such a superficial way. It's like so much more, and there's always the ties back to season 1, but that's it. I don't want to say much about it beyond that because I know that the internet's fucking meh, but it's still gonna be it's probably going to be my anime of the year. I mean, unless, I don't know, Jujutsu Kaisen, I already know Shibuya is going to have some insane moments and stuff, which might, I don't know, it might sway me because I have a thing for it. Jujutsu Kaisen's kind of got a place here. But Vinland Saga is just amazing. And so I would feel guilty not talking about it and how amazing it is.
Well, I think it's the difference between discussing things that happened in a story, just events, and how those events should shape a fully functional human being in real life. I mean, obviously, there's a hyper reality of something like a Vinland Saga or really any piece of produced entertainment, but I think that what it really comes down to is a story that's willing to grapple with incredibly difficult subject matter and philosophy and then try to craft something honest inside of that, not for like the titillation of a viewer who might have come there because they want to see someone's head get cut off or the main character to rage out and like to do some justified murder because that's what makes everyone feel good. But what if you chose like the actual hardest possible path, the one that like doesn't satisfy anybody, viscerally, the like that? I honestly believe, like when I was reading Vinland Saga, no one told me anything. Nobody was like, oh, it's just the little first part where he's like a crazed murder goblin running around England, just like, emo as fuck and chopping off people's fingers and shit. Like, no one said anything like that to me. So my experience was Thorfinn trying to understand what the fuck was going on, to have so many things happen to him, and as the result of that, him being actually fucked up, like for real fucked up, and not just in the like, oh, he's just a quiet guy now. No, like, like screaming at night because of PTSD and like making like a vow for peace that's so strong he would just die. Like he's willing to die at any time, especially as things go further. I will not give away what happens in the manga, but like I think to put it all together, Vinland Saga is a story of true philosophical heroism, and it has the entire hero's journey, not just the one that stops when he,
gets his revenge.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's the one that continues after that and asks the question, how do you live a fulfilling life? Period. It just asks that question. And, what he is able to withstand and the lengths that he goes for forgiveness, to take responsibility for things that he did or said or believed or situations he put other people into, despite still being tempted and pulled and assaulted by people with very real motivations to either use him or murder him, is such a refreshing thing to experience. I don't care how you get it, whether it's the anime, which is excellent, whether it's the manga, which is excellent. Like, it's a story that you owe yourself to read or to witness or to come about. So I got no argument if you say that's the production of the year for you so far or at all. Like, this shit is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I guess we can talk a little bit about some of the things that probably everybody expects. So for me, I had on my list Witch from Mercury. I mean, I'm a mecha starved individual.
We had that discussion.
We did. We had that discussion. So I think that overall, despite the fact that I'm not totally pleased with the way that it ended, I still don't want to take away or rescind the props that I gave the series as it was running, especially in the first half, of being so patient. Because the gimmick of, Gundam High School is like strong enough and cute enough on its own that it could have sustained all sorts of shenanigans and things. And they spent the first 12 episodes I wouldn't say that it dragged. It was mostly that they were just confident enough in a lot of the characters to take time. Spending entire episodes on secondary or supporting characters who would have a role to play later, but like weren't necessarily directly impactful on the plot. I'm thinking of like Gwells when he like gets shipped off to Earth as a prisoner. They spent a good like full episode just on him and with no real connection to anything else that's going on or any other happenings. And I liked that aspect of the production. And both Jordan and I commented when we got to the first half, where it's like, there ain't no way we're wrapping this up in one cour. So, okay, we'll at least get two. And then we're like halfway through the second cour, and it was, again, kind of taking its time on a lot of things. We're like, okay, ain't no way it's going to end in two cours. Maybe you'll get three. Maybe it'll be like IBO, where you kind of break it up. Who knows? Well, it turned out that it didn't. It turned out that they kind of had to rush to a very specific ending, and that meant contorting a lot of the characters in ways that was convenient for storytelling, but not super interesting, or not interesting is the wrong word, not super compelling. In the scheme of things, one of those things where, like, if you watch an action movie, you're not necessarily there for the plot, but if the villain suddenly gets dumb right at the end of the movie, that's happening in order to end the movie. It's not necessarily a representation of like what you believe that character might or might not do, unless it's a farce. Like I love me some gimmicky B movies, and you watch Street Fighter the movie or something, and Bison is going on Raul Julia, excuse me, is going on long monologues, and I'm chuckling. But if he gets dumb in the end and gets taken out by Jean-Claude Van Damme, that's just how the movie's supposed to end. I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, well, that betrayed the spirit of this. No, it's just we got to get to an end. Whereas I gave Witch from Mercury a lot of credit because it was willing to ask some very tough questions, not answer them specifically, put the characters in classic, Gundam shonen positions that we hoped were going to pay off even more spectacularly than they wound up doing it. But I enjoyed watching all 24 episodes. Production was fantastic. Mecha design was some of the best I've seen for a non-UC series. Sometimes it kind of gets phoned in a little bit, but like there's a lot of iconic suits. We got to talk about ChuChu as, like, again, a character who got her moments, didn't get the payoff again that I would have wanted. But like, I can't lie and be like, when I was watching it, I wasn't like kind of living for her scenes, her in her fucking bonnet, her punching people in the face, just like just
using the sniper rifle as a blunt weapon,
right? Like all of that. So I, as someone who doesn't get a lot of quality mecha shit, this was my jam. And I also noticed inside of it stuff for other audiences, not just me. If you were in on the Yuri shipping, they had that for you, right? They gave you as much as they were willing to go. Jordan, I don't know where you still stand on, like, should they have gone all the way with some of it or not? At least giving us like,
it's too late. I don't even read Yuri.
It's over, right? That part's over.
And the doujins are everywhere. Right. I can't get away from them. Fucking ridiculous.
They didn't do that, but I felt there was an opportunity, had they wanted to go full on, give the actual romance nerds a chance. But overall, I think it was a fantastic project. Where it ranks in like all the ACs, I haven't really decided.
Ooh.
I'm gonna save that for like
you need some time on that.
Because there are things that like just my nostalgia is always gonna promote, whether or not it's actually better. Like, I'm a big G Gundam fan, but that's because it's absurd, right? It's a farce.
It's a show.
Yeah,
it's a show. Right. It's entertainment.
Exactly. Like, I can still recite, the Shining Finger quote. There's not going to be lines like that from this series that are going to stick with me, but higher production value, music was excellent. Right? Yeah,
sleeping,
like stronger character dynamics.
Yeah.
So I got to give it up.
Yeah, Witch from Mercury for me also. But also, I think it's really good because I'm seeing a lot of general, like, mecha interest. And I've seen clips and stuff of, like, the new Armored Core. I think they had, like, a play test recently. And in a lot of the comments on, like, the articles or the clips, I'm seeing people being like, oh, I really actually like Gundam, and this is mecha. So I'm kind of interested in checking this game out. And I'm like, So I would expect them to be interested in the next Gundam game because, of course, like, Suletta and Miorine have their, like, stands now. So they're gonna follow and support whatever it is because they just, Yuri Gundam, like, they're supporting it. But it was interesting because I'm just seeing, like, oh my God, is this gonna get people back into mecha somewhat? Are we, like, is it kind of just like going up a little bit? And then we're gonna get more things because of this show, because of how accessible it was and because how, like, wide reaching it was. So I'm excited for that. Also play Exo Primal, you guys. That's a fun mecha game.
It's not bad. Yes,
it is not bad. It's really fun. But you got to actually, like, play through it. You can't just play the first level and be like, this is all it's gonna be. But even that kind of, like, mecha stuff, someone in the damn lobby was just like, oh yeah, me and Ariel about to go in, and I'm like, what do you think is talking? And I'm like, what? Like, okay, like, is it really this wide reaching? Did people really basically be like, I love Gundam, I'm gonna fucking like get any kind of mecha thing that I get my hands on right now? If that's the effect that it's had, that's great. I'm just speaking off of like my own like experiences recently. So if that is more widespread, then I give it to this show for doing that, because we need another Gurren Lagann. We need another one, like original banger mecha. I mean, I would say Trigger would do it, but like Trigger did Premiere, all kind of shit like that. So they're probably not even touching mecha. They got to focus on panty and stocking right now.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
Isn't Trigger also doing something else?
Yeah.
Are they the ones that are doing the they're the ones doing the dungeon?
Yeah, the dungeon food thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got my Ariel.
Oh, you do?
Oh, what? Where?
Come on, bro. All right.
What grade is it?
It's a full mechanic 1/100. I don't know what the fuck any of that shit means. This literally, Witch from Mercury was my first. Well, I guess it's not my first. It's my first Gundam, not my first mech, because I watched like 2 mecha series, and then I watched Witch from Mercury, and I feel like I'm maybe one of those same people that's like, oh, watch Witch from Mercury. Oh, I want to watch more. And then I watched Iron Blooded Orphans, which I did finish.
Oh, you finished it.
I did.
That's
way more brutal.
And yeah, I mean, I'm almost mad that I wasn't more shocked at a certain someone's death in the last like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm the death that got me the most was a certain
young
death
person.
right after saying that they would be seeing someone again soon.
Well, you knew that was happening.
Are you fucking
we're all having dinner. We'll see you come back home. Right, okay.
Fucking killed me, dude. Anyways,
I want to talk. We need to talk
I think
about that.
It opened it up for me. And so I watched IBO, and I don't know what's going to be the next thing I've watched, but this makes
watch
4...
8th Mobile Suit Team.
Oh, yeah.
8th Mobile Suit Team. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to watch more. I liked all that I've seen, because all I've seen is Code Geass, Knights and Magic, which
Knights and Magic wasn't bad.
It's not good either. That's the problem.
It's like a 6-7.
The end of it is the last half of that series is so weird, because it's like, oh right, I like to make action figures. Now I'm gonna have a rivalry with another guy who's just a psycho, and 12 episodes of that.
Yeah, I watched those. I want to say maybe I watched another when I was a kid, like middle school, which is
have you not? You haven't watched Gurren Lagann? Oh,
you got to get mecha pill.
Yeah, you got to get on that. Oh my god,
I know.
On that,
dude. It's been in my So I have a Patreon poll for sci-fi or mecha. It's like a sci-fi / mecha poll, and I think we've done 1, 2, 3. I want to say we've done like maybe 6 or 7 different sci-fi / mecha series. And Gurren Lagann's been in like 5 out of 7 of the polls. So it made it through like the recommendation, because basically I say, give me recommendations like the ones that you like the most. It's made it onto the poll 5 out of 7 times. It just has not won any of them. And so I basically decided, all right, when we finish, because I'm watching Data Live right now.
Okay.
Once I finish Data Live, I went through already season 2. I'm probably going to watch season 3 and 4 soon. Once I finish Bakuman, I'll watch those. And then I'm going to watch Gurren Lagann. Fuck a poll. I'm just going to watch it because I've been wanting to watch it. I'm the one that puts it in the thing. I literally make the post saying, I want your recommendations for mecha. And then like I comment first and I say Gurren Lagann. Like it's literally me trying to get them to choose it. And then it just doesn't win. But yeah, I want to watch that. And I feel like I just wanted to say, like, I feel like I'm one of those people that you mentioned how Witch from Mercury got them into stuff more. And I think that's the same with me. It got me into more, even though I had already seen Code Geass. It's just, it didn't get me into mecha as much as Witch from Mercury did. Because for me, Code Geass is just the mind games and the ability, and stuff like that. More than the
I already thought of that. Ha
Yeah, it's
If I
what's your thing? Your thing was like I already threw the grenade in the room or
Yeah,
something like that. Like,
exactly.
you brought it up so many times.
Before I
Yeah,
came in the room.
yeah. It's just
if
like
there is
that's how he
one
is.
that I wouldn't say watch, but I will warn you of is if anyone ever recommends Cross Ange, just don't watch.
Don't do that one.
Just don't watch.
Okay.
Just
But
don't.
when I was saying when I was younger, like middle schoolish is when basically me and my family got into anime. Not my mom. My mom doesn't watch anime, but my dad did. My sister did. She basically got us all into it. Even though technically we watched anime sort of when we were younger. Like when I was a kid, 2001, Berserk, the original Berserk
Oh my
was
goodness,
like released.
my favorite.
And
Oh.
there was a movie, not a movie theater, but a movie store, like a DVD store. Oh, I guess it wasn't a DVD store. It was a VHS store around the corner-ish from me. And we got that from there. And we got Record of Lotus War from there. Me and my sister
Great,
watched those
love me
as
some
fucking
Lotus War.
kids.
Yup.
As kids, we watched that shit. But yeah, back in like 07-ish, 06, 07, 08, somewhere around there, is when I first saw Naruto and I first saw Bleach. But as far as mecha goes, a series that my dad really liked was Eureka 7. And so
I was about
we
to
watched
say
Eureka
that.
7.
I was
Yeah,
like, have you
people
ever
like
watched Eureka 7?
So we watched
it's hit or
all of
miss
Eureka 7.
For some. Oh, so you've seen Eureka 7. Oh, okay.
I've seen all of it, but I don't remember because my memory's dog shit. So
Yeah.
like I don't even like legit Naruto. I remember some things, but like some of it's just not there in my brain. And like, let me tell you how the fight, in Shippuden, there's that fight, Shikamaru and his teacher versus the
Hidan.
immortal guy.
Yeah, that's
and
right in the beginning of I
Yeah.
guess
I
the
don't
first
even
arc of
remember it.
Shippuden. Yeah.
I don't remember the fight at all. Any of it. Not even a
Oh, it's
single
one of the
little
best
bit.
ones. Of the-
Yeah.
I know, that's crazy. And I don't remember it because my memory's so shit. I don't remember a lot of Naruto because it's been so damn long.
I mean, I don't want to derail us into a mecha conversation.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
No.
Well,
I'm
have
not
you
saying
seen
it's a
Big
bad
O?
thing.
Have
I'm
you
trying
heard
to
of
limit-
Big O?
I'm trying to limit myself. That's
Nope.
it's not you.
You might like Big O. Big O is definitely like noir mecha.
Yeah, it's damn, what I mean, it's like
Noir
Batman, but it's
mecha.
Batman piloting
Yeah.
a giant fucking
Yeah.
robot.
Yeah, it's like Batman mecha.
Mecha.
It was
What
so
the
popular in the
fuck?
US that the US popularity spurred on another season.
Yeah. It was one of the earliest Cartoon Network what
Adult
was it,
Swim.
Madhouse. I'm trying to remember what studio was behind that one. Big O. But it was a direct. It may have been with Bandai. I don't quite remember, but it was a direct. It was one of the first of Cartoon Network's like direct partnerships with Japanese anime studios. Because it was
Sunrise.
So, Sunrise. Okay, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't want to go down the entire rabbit hole, but I think one of the interesting things is that as somebody coming at these series with fresh eyes, at least you've already watched a few things, so it's not necessarily the case that you've like never watched any mecha anime. So like the first one is going to be that gets recommended is going to make or break it. But it is kind of interesting that Witch from Mercury has had the kind of crossover appeal to really convince people. People who have the time, but maybe not the interest to go check out other stuff.
Yeah,
I would ask after having seen what you've seen, do you feel like you have a preference for the type of show? Because obviously, like any subgenre, there are any number of kind of flavors of mecha stuff. Some of it's very grounded and realistic. Some of it is very wacky and over the top, and everything in the middle. Where do you feel that you fall after having gotten through this season or this show?
I'm not a very like preference person. Like literally every single season I watch everything from I watch romance, I watch just comedy, I watch boring ass slice of life, which is I honestly slice of life I don't really love, but I doubt I'm going to be getting too much slice of life mecha. So
you'd be surprised.
I think we're safe there. Oh well then fuck me. But mecha, slice of life I don't really. I watch mecha. I watch just action. I watch shonen. I watch seinen. I watch dramas. I watch fucking Dance Dance Dancer, which is like not even. That's not even like that's. But so I heard
there's some crazy Sakuga in it.
It's so like different, Like I watch Kong Ming. I watch like so many different things that are all such a variety that it's just like I don't know. I don't think that there's anything like specific that I need from it. I just want it to have like a good story. I think the thing that I care about more than anything, I don't want bad animation. I'm okay with decent animation. I'm okay with that. Like as long as it's like Demon Slayer level, like decent animation. I'm just kidding. No, but
yeah, I was like,
as long as it's like decent animation, like fuck, man. Even like Tokyo Revengers, a lot of the times is like decent animation. There's so many like shows that are decent animation or good animation, or even better than that, great animation. Fucking Heaven's Feel, amazing animation. But like I don't really care about that as much as I care about the story. Like if you give me a good story, and if it's a comedy, it has to make me laugh. If it's a drama, it has to make me feel. If it's a romance, there better be some cute shit, you know? So like, as long as they do what they do, and if it's an action, I have to be like, oh. So yeah, as long as it does what it's supposed to do, good story, that's all I care about.
That's a fairly open, criteria.
Yeah, grounded or like totally out of the fucking, I mean, I watch things that are totally like, this is fucking ridiculous. Okay, I will, no, you know what I'm going to say? I can watch a show that is completely ridiculous, but for some reason, there are some times when I will watch something that's completely ridiculous, and I know it's completely ridiculous, but I'll take it too seriously, and then I won't enjoy it.
I see.
And that, as long as it doesn't do that, like as long as I don't take it seriously, but I don't even know how to not take it seriously. So that's like kind of like a, in the moment, am I taking it seriously or not? So I'm cool with something totally out there. We'll have to see if I actually take it too seriously. Or not.
And I assume you've never seen Evangelion, any version of it. Okay.
No.
Right.
But I know. I will say it's Evangelion. I know the big spoiler because it's fucking been around for 20 years. So I know about the connection between him and his machine.
Blah, blah.
Okay.
Well, that's the only thing I know about him and his machine. I'm pretty sure it's his machine. Maybe it's a different one, but that's the big spoiler that I know about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty more where that came from.
But see, what you don't know about is the 162 confirmed canon Evangelion universes that exist all in one.
I've heard it's pretty fucking bad.
Canon.
Yeah, but one thing you mentioned, like slice of life, Mecha, I can recommend Gun Parade March, which is basically that. It's a series where the premise would have you think it's all about like, a bunch of pilots fighting against alien invaders in robots, but actually it's just a rom-com with like slice of life stuff and like.
But that's the thing, rom-com. Give it to me. The thing I can't do with slice of life is just slice of life.
Oh, like I woke up this morning, ate a piece of bread. Now I'm getting on the train. Something funny happened. End of skit.
But even in the, I can do them if the funny is really fucking funny, or if there's like a drama in there somewhere. If there's a romance, sure. But like there are some that like, I'm gonna be real. I did not like K-On! I didn't think K-On! Was good. I don't like it.
I never even tried it. I listen to all the music all the time.
That's all I knew about it.
And so like it. I don't know. I kind of derailed all of our stuff. But yeah,
it's whatever. We'll talk. So many more things I will mecha pill you at some point. We'll see.
All right, yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Mecha.
Well, actually, technically, I guess you were up next. So,
am I? Okay. I'm just gonna quickly say some of my things I want to give flowers to. I want to give flowers to Skip and Loafer. I doubt we're gonna talk about it. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. Oshinoko also thought it was amazing. Want to give my flowers there just in case we don't talk about it. Insomniacs After School. Did I tell you guys about that last time we talked?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the one. So I want to give my flowers there because we already talked about it on the last time I was on with you guys. And then the thing that I want to talk about is something we haven't even gotten too many episodes of. We've only gotten 3 episodes of it because it's airing right now, but it's fucking amazing. And the first season of it was absolutely amazing. And that is Link Click.
I know you're a
Donghua.
big link
But
click supporter.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
the link click
Absolutely
agenda
love
is
it.
heavy. People love that show.
Link Click is really good. Have you guys watched it or tried to?
I watched the
No.
first episode of the first season, and I was like, I will come back to this, and I have not yet. So I don't have any deep insight to share beyond I liked it.
Phenomenal. There's a actual story in it, so it's more than just it's the sum of its parts. There are each episode, and sometimes it's multiple episodes for a story, but it all has its own individual things, and everything impacts as it grows throughout the first season. First season's not this year. This is the second season. But everything here is just a result of the final episode of season 1, which is fucking unbelievable. Wild shit happens, and I mean, wild shit happens through the whole first season, but the cliffhanger that you're left with the end of season 1 is just insane. Season 2 picks right up, more wild shit constantly. It still pulls tears out of me, and it's just a phenomenal series that I guess this is kind of more given flowers just because I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil. It's just that incredible that I highly recommend it to everybody. During the year that it aired, which was 2021, it was Link Click, Mushoku Tensei, and Odd Taxi for me that were like the ones that I was thinking anime of the year. I mean, also Ranking of Kings came out, but that was only half of it.
Yeah.
And literally Link Click right up there with Odd Taxi, right up there with like Mushoku Tensei, right up there with the second half of Jujutsu Kaisen and the first half of Ranking of Kings and all. Like there's so many great shows, but Link Click, it's easily the best Donghua I've seen, though I've only seen 2.
So I was about to ask a question about that, but I want you to finish your thought. But
it's incredible, man. It's animated well. The music is great throughout the whole show. It does the thing that I love when any anime does this, but where it like will start to bring in the end theme as the anime's ending. And so each time you're getting close to the end and you start hearing the end theme start to play and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? We're at the end of the episode already. And then it ends and you're like, fucking, it's so good. It's just such a good series. I can't recommend it enough. I do recommend that you guys give it a shot watch more, see if you can get into it. It is a Donghua, so it is in Mandarin.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be Nani Bakana. It's going to be like, you're going to hear a lot of shh sounds. And it's just, that might turn people off. Some people don't like the sound of Mandarin, which is fucking weird. In my opinion, I mean, I get maybe I feel like that just romanticizes the Japanese language and
a lot of people are what do they call them?
Japophiles,
Japanaboos, or whatever.
Weebs,
weebs, yeah,
weebs.
Where
weebs.
they think Japan is this like magical nation of like.
I mean,
high
what is the thing, dude? Who said this thing? Somebody said
government.
Somebody said that Japan is Wakanda for white people. Who said that? Somebody said that. I don't remember.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Somebody said it. I don't remember. It's like a comedian said it, or maybe it was. I don't know. But
so accurate.
It's just funny.
I had just
Japan
watched
is Wakanda for white people.
They be defending that shit harder than actual Japanese people.
There's a great video essay about self fetishization that's put together by a Chinese presenter, but they're just talking about like the East Asian identity and the way in which Japan has exported a lot of its culture as like a soft power strategy, but it's been like overly, like it's almost too successful in some ways, where you kind of get that exact phenomenon of people believing in myths about Japan that are actually fairly unhelpful for what Japan actually wants to achieve as like, you know, both national ambition and also like people who live in this country but have like Japanese origin. Like it's just deeply troubling. But it's it was the same idea. I actually want to ask a question because I've tried to get into a variety of Chinese-led production, but things that were developed by Japanese studios. And what I've found is not the language even, like, because I one of my favorite series of all time is Thunderbolt Fantasy, which is a Taiwanese Pili Pili puppet production that's obviously it's entirely in Chinese, and I love it because the Sawano does the music, and Gano Ibushi also was responsible for writing, the writing. But one of the problems I've had with some of the more like mainland Chinese anime productions is not the language and the way it sounds. It's the directorial timing. I can't. That's the thing that often like I have a hard time getting into, and I don't really have like the right cinema language to properly describe what it is, but it's almost like scenes that I would expect to end on certain notes end on a completely different note, and they're either longer or shorter than I in my mind would expect a scene to be held in either like very Western centric production or in anime. Like yesterday I was watching the new DC, was it Me and Superman or whatever that is?
Oh,
And
yeah.
and that's a very anime inspired, but in a more refined way kind of production where it's got more American style animation where, in anime, there's a lot of focus on the face and lip flaps. And, if they're hand animating a lot of it, like motion is pronounced and there's a lot of like close in shots to sort of pull out shots. Whereas in a American production, it's almost like they're imagining an actual like television camera in a space. And so it's like a little flatter. It's a little more like everything is animated to the same degree. The mouth, your arms and legs, things happening in the background, like the way the action is put together. But the timing of a line, the timing of a response, the length of a scene, it all has a very specific feel. And in Chinese led productions, like I can't. Sometimes it's just very jarring, where like a joke will come out like lightning fast, and they don't linger on it. They'll just like cut away as if like if I was more culturally aware of like the nuance, that would be very normal, like very like TV drama feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get into like hand animated action, it's really good. So like one series is The Outcast, or I think it's Hitori no Shita in Japanese, and maybe like 3 or 4 years ago there were all these clips going around on Twitter of like these like amazingly well animated martial arts scenes because they got like Yutaka Nakamura to work on some of the production. And so like I remember like really like what is this show, gotta find it. And then I finally dug it up. I was like, I did not realize it was in Chinese. And so like I loved the show, but something was always off about like the timing of everything. And I wonder if you've had that experience.
So what I will say about a Chinese anime is that it will feel fast sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely moments that feel fast. Even in the animation, it feels really like quick. Like somebody will turn and it'll just be like, whoop,
yep,
like really, really quick. They'll turn really fast, or like a delivery will be fast, and then they do move on. Like I get what you're saying in that regard. I could totally see that. I think that I don't know. I can't really recall moments that are like that too much, but yeah, I think when I think hard on it, I think that there are probably some moments where they deliver something really quickly and move on.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I can't specifically, but
yeah, it's hard.
I still
I
think
just thought about it when
Link
you were
Click is
about
just really good, man. It's just a really good series, and I think that what makes Link Click good isn't really like a comedy thing, anyways. It is definitely like more of a drama, and
sure,
how, because it deals with like kind of like a time traveling element, and how they have to fix things and they cause issues that then lead to stuff down the line that needs to be fixed. But then it also deals a lot with like their past and who they are, and I don't know how to say it in a way.
It's a causality sort of
it's just
storyline.
it's just really good, man.
I thought it was cool. What I saw, I thought was pretty cool. Looked great.
I love it. Anyways,
anything else you wanted to shout out?
yeah, I mean the others. That's it. Really, yeah. Everything else is like stuff airing now. Like we could talk about some of the like currently airing things if you want.
I only have like one note from this week beyond like the Jujutsu Kaisen discourse, which I'm sure we can spend some time on. And that is like was it Seven Spellblades, which I cannot remember as just demented Hogwarts, because that's what the fuck this is. Like, I think I talked the last time about episode 1 and like how the whole thing feels like this like psychotic mishmash of like very serious topics and then a lot of like anime tropes. And I'm here to tell you that having gotten to through episode 3, the psychosis absolutely remains. The thing that kind of stuck out to me over the last couple episodes as I was watching it is that there is very clearly an intent here. It's not just like random shit thrown together, but like the music actually stands out a lot in that it gives aesthetically, you could see the influences, the capes and the wands and the whatever, but then the music is also absolutely Harry Potter inspired, and it's supposed to like set you at ease, and then the most like insane or troubling stuff will just happen and everyone just rolls with it. Like in the second episode, they give you the whole like, we're gonna do introduction to magic attacks, and then you find out that like, okay, at one point a wizard was murdered in a duel by someone with no magic because they just cut them to pieces, and after that every single wizard now also uses a sword because they ain't gonna let that shit happen again. And so they do the usual like, oh, we're gonna demonstrate like what this battle's style looks like. So you get our main character, and then you put her in with like the absolutely demented samurai girl who we learned the last episode has probably was in a war, has PTSD, and has killed hundreds of people. And they like every little thing in this series, like stuff you've seen before, but then right at the end they make it insane. So they do like we're going to show you what dueling is like. And normally in these type of scenes, your main character is like, he's perfect, so he's going to like win at everything. And so he goes in like, yeah, I'll show off to the class how to do it. I'll take it easy on her. This girl fucking watches him to the point where he's like, oh, I got to bust out my secret main character power. And at that moment, both of them break the non-lethality spell and almost murder each other. And then the main character stops and gets super upset. He's like, I don't want to die, and I also don't want to kill this person. And she's like, hey, what's going on? What's wrong? It's like, do you realize that we almost took each other out? And I'm like, oh, okay, a little bit of darkness. Cool. Next class, introduction to magical creatures. And we already have like our characters, like the bleeding heart, like, I love magical animals. They're so great. God. The professor is an actual like shark tooth psychopath who's like, oh yeah, don't you think this, she literally says, you think this class is all about cute and cuddly magical animals. Well, to a wizard, all living things that do not have magic are tools. So your job for this is to inject just enough magic into these bugs to make them form a cocoon. But if you put too much, they will just become a bloodthirsty monster and try to murder you. And then it's your job and your job alone to murder it before it kills you.
Wow! Okay, so the darkness is here.
And James, just as James said, there's a girl that like loves animals and shit. Yeah. And so she's got to deal with this shit too. Everyone in the class is working on this assignment.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. And then they like, everyone gets to the class and they have to get 5 cocoons perfectly out of 10. So what happens to the other 10 is that you either finish it off or you got to kill them because you fucked up. And so she's like on number 9. Everyone else is like going home, and they're like, why is she still working on this? And it's like, well, she's here for a different reason than the rest of y'all. Like, she actually wants to save as many of these animals from being just straight up like, gassed and murdered. And she fucks up because like a stiff breeze comes to the window, transforms one of her, like the next to last like a cocoon into a monster. It then attacks her. The 2 of her friends kill it, and then they spend like a good 5-minute section where the main character, he's not lecturing her, he's like, look, you're like an angel. You've like floated in. You have all these high ideas and everything else, but now you've had a taste of the real world, and you have to understand that like you didn't pull the trigger, but we had to kill it. So you don't live with no blood on your hands now. And if you want to hold on to those ideas, that's very laudable, but you have to do it with like eyes wide open. You can't be out here like thinking this is all fun and fucking games. So then you get that scene, and I'm like, huh. Then they have a straight up scene that feels like it was lifted right out of a Harry Potter book where one character forgets his book in the classroom and they have to go back. But in this Hogwarts, this demented Hogwarts school, there's like a some kind of labyrinth under the school
Of
that
course.
at
Yeah.
night,
Of fucking course.
At night it encroaches in on it, so
Yeah.
like it starts to you start roaming the halls and you go into a labyrinth.
yeah, you're just and you're just fucked. And then they get down there, like, because obviously what happens. Like, oh, it's earlier than usual. Damn, we're stuck in this labyrinth. What's the first thing they run into? Like, a psychotic Onesan
vampire.
there.
No, Nason, yeah.
Yeah, who literally gives birth to a homunculus while she's orgasming, and like it's just you're just like I'm like
I gotta watch this show. I'm watching this tonight. Tonight.
It's just insane.
It's only 3 episodes, right?
Yeah, it's only 3.
I'll say the only thing that like I'm really concerned about right now is I feel like they might just like bibbity bobbity boop fix the fucking samurai girl. And like that's my only issue, because they introduce the ability for her to grow and like not be crazy psychotic and stuff. As long as they give us through the rest of the season moments where she falters or is about to falter or like has to be in a situation where she might just fuck up, or maybe even if she does fuck up and goes back to who she was. If those things happen, good. If they don't at all, then this show's bad.
Right, because
the entire show's bad if that happens.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, and I would add to it that what I'm waiting for, in addition to avoiding as many Deus Ex Machina ass pullery bullshit that you might expect, I need to see the first kill of one of these spellblades.
Oh,
I have to see it, because this is the reason I stuck around after episode 1. I mean, episode 1 was pretty good. I mean, it was interesting. Intriguing might be the better word for it. But when you get the reveal at the end of episode 1 that his purpose for being there is to assassinate these like high-ranking people, at that point, I'm like, well, you've shown me that you can at least touch on some interesting ideas. I now have to see some fulfillment of this promise you have made to me as a viewer that motherfucker's about to get washed. I gotta see it. If I don't get that, or they find some way to write their way out of like just straight up murder, my interest in this is gonna drop to like a 5 out of 10. Right now it's at like a pleasant 7.5 as far as interest level. Like it's one of the things I want to watch, because I think I'll see something interesting. And I've seen a lot of interesting shit, but you gotta make good on the promise. Otherwise, this ain't it, fam. We want to talk a little bit about Jujutsu Kaisen, or we want to talk about people talking about Jujutsu Kaisen?
It's what do you mean by people talking about it?
So this week, with the
I saw a screen cap. I still haven't watched it because I've been watching other stuff. But
Toji going ham, Gojo getting his ass mollywopped.
I saw a gash in that nigga's body.
Yes. And then, of course, the 5-star vessel getting her head blown off.
What? Okay, I got it. Oh my god. See, I thought this was gonna be a chill season. There's so many fucking shows now. Nah. I literally remember looking at this being like, oh, there's maybe like 2 or 3 things I'm gonna be interested in. That's a fucking lie.
I actually, for the first time, got a kick out of just watching reaction compilations to Gojo getting absolutely ruined, and then they milked that last scene. They put the music behind it, like "You can be free," and then that shit was crazy.
Okay,
I'm definitely in a good mood. Less good now that I know that we're taking a month off, but I guess that's just what it is.
Yeah,
that explains why
August
they said Shibuya August. I mean Shibuya at the end of August. That explains why they said that now.
Yeah, it's gonna be literally it's gonna be the last week of August, and then all of September, October, November, December, which is great because it needs it. It's a long arc. It's like a 40 chapter arc.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something you can be like, oh, we'll just put 3 chapters in this one episode, because it's just too. There's so many things that happen.
Yeah, the first thing that happens is one of the things that upset me for a while, because I lost one of my favorite characters right off the bat, and he went down hard. So I'm just like, I was like, all right.
Yeah, there's stuff, man. There's stuff. It's a wild one.
So
Um,
I'm living for people who are anime only getting destroyed emotionally.
it's gonna be that's gonna be the season for sure. It's gonna
Probably.
destroy a lot of people.
Well, okay. I guess we have run down the major list of stuff. Jordan, you want to talk about the question of the week?
Well, do we want to talk about the trailer that dropped? A live action trailer that dropped
What trailer?
The
for
well,
One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece.
Oh,
Do we want to talk about it at all?
I'll listen. I'll bite the bullet and I'll just say I was not offended by that trailer.
I was not offended by the trailer, but I'm not excited.
I am morbidly curious.
When I saw Sanji do this like that in the air, I was like, oh.
The big question I will always have is it anime or is it anime? I don't know. I'm not sure yet because One Piece is very wacky. And so you have to figure out what parts of the wackiness translate or you can kind of get over and which parts of it you have to abandon, even though it hurts and it feels like it's the sort of soul of the series. And I don't have an answer.
As the character interactions, I am looking forward to the character interactions. The little glimpse that we got of like Sanji and Zoro and then like Nami. It doesn't seem like anyone's like hamming it up. Like it seems as though like they have some grasp of like the characters and their idiosyncrasies. But yeah, I'm open. I'm more excited about Dragon Prince season 5 that just dropped than I am about this. Like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
That's fair.
I'm excited for it. As a new One Piece fan, I think that
and that content is fresh on your mind.
There's true. But I also think that East Blue is pretty bad in comparison to anything I've watched since.
Yeah, probably that's fair.
But I only have like gripes with a few things. I don't even have. I was joking earlier when I said Arlong. I don't even have any real gripes with him aside from the fact that he looks small. I would love him to just be 20% bigger, muscle, height. That would make me happy. He's like 6'1", the actor. He was like 6'6".
For who?
The actor for Arlong.
Oh, okay.
If he was like 6'6", oh, perfect. Give me somebody that's 6'6". I think that it would have been better.
With his nose.
I have no problem with his nose because what are you supposed to do? You're gonna make a fucking actual like saw thing. I think that if you're gonna make them look real-ish,
if that's what they're going for, then
real-ish.
But then it goes back to what James is saying. It's like, how wacky are we gonna get? Are we going for hyper realistic or are we going for wacky?
I think that there's gonna be. I don't know how wacky it's. I don't think it's gonna be too wacky because I think if you do it too wacky, then non-anime fans are not going to like it at all. They're not going to like it even remotely. Whereas if you have a level, like a very small amount of the wackiness, but you have like the overall One Piece minus the incredible wackiness, even anime fans to an extent, obviously some people are just going to hate it no matter what. Anime fans to an extent will enjoy it. Like myself even. Because I'm honestly more open to it. Whereas there are literally people that do not watch things that aren't anime. Like they legitimately don't. They only watch anime, and they are like, or there are people that watch anime, but really all they do is watch One Piece. Yeah. Or they watch anime and all they do is watch the shonens.
Yeah.
Like jump shonens, nothing else. And so these people exist, and so I don't know. I'm going to be open to it. I think that it's fine. I think the other thing I didn't really love was I did not love Shanks. I didn't think he looked weird to me. He looked weird.
Well, they got time. They got plenty of time to work on that.
But I think they're going to try and incorporate him a little bit more. I heard that they wanted to incorporate Garp more.
Well, yeah, they both
he's
basically
irrelevant.
Disappeared. Well,
yeah,
Garp
he's irrelevant.
Was like barely even there. Wait.
I mean, even where I am now, Shanks is fucking... No, I think we see him at the end. We see him... I think we see him...
Like a silhouette or something?
At the end of the entire East Blue when he picks up Kobe and
okay.
Or maybe that's after. I don't even know.
I
That might
think
be
one of
once you actually enter
the thing I'm concerned about is not whether the show will find a rhythm or like its look will consistently sort of deliver what it needs to. It's the same because I'm open minded. Like I was somebody who actually is fairly confident in defending the Cowboy Bebop remake for the parts that worked well. And they're worth it wasn't just a garbage fire production. Like there were
Yeah.
absolutely some things that worked well. There's in fact, there's I think episode 7 where there's a Ichi the Killer or maybe it's Ichi Killer Old Boy, but they do like a um one shot fight scene through a home like that shot from the outside that is genuinely like an inspired piece of cinematography. The problem that I had with that at the time was that they altered a lot of characters in order to bring them to
Oh,
places that
like
they never got
Jet.
to. Right, and it didn't and
Yeah.
the things that they added didn't help. They were not better than what they replaced. And I think that's kind of my general rule with live action. Adapt, yes. Make concessions to reality and the fact that you actually got to film this with people, absolutely. But if you're going to replace stuff or you're going to introduce some new elements or even frankly like in One Piece, one of the biggest things that One Piece has that makes it such an interesting read and anime is the absolute sense of scale and size difference between
World
every single
building.
character you tend to see on the screen. When a character is large, they're not just large, they're sometimes grotesquely huge. When a character is meant to, elicit sympathy by being much smaller, they are, like you have a chopper, which I know is going to be a nightmare in and of itself, but like, Luffy is skinny and lanky, not just because it's an easy design to draw or that it's iconic. It's because it lets him be towered over by these villains that are,
And that's my issue with the trailer for Arlong.
yeah. So that, and I'm agreeing with you. So my key worry is that in trying to appease people who are aggressive about every little detail feeling authentic to either the anime or the manga, that they won't necessarily find the new pieces that they've got to add that have to be as good as what is in the original in order to not have people laugh them out of the room before they do what they want to accomplish with the season. It's like a high-minded way of saying like the shit can't there are things that you can allow to go away, but this shit cannot suck. And I like the actors that they've gotten, so I'm not really worried about performance. And I like the fact they spend a lot of time and money on sets, but things like scale, you can't like I've seen some of these clips and it's like these characters are definitely human sized. So you're not going to be able to get away with the kind of grotesque dichotomy between like your heroes and your antagonists. It's going to have to be replaced with something else. And I don't know yet until I see it what that something is, or if it's good or bad. But I'm open minded. I'm more than willing to give it a shot because I like a lot of what I did see, and that they're very unapologetic about like trying some shit. So let's go. Let's see what you got.
You know what's going to be weird? I think there's going to be a lot of One Piece fans that watch it in a Japanese dub.
That is interesting. I didn't really think about that.
Because they're having the original voice actors, like the actually Luffy and actually like Sanji and Zoro, like they're going to be voicing these characters.
That's a good idea.
I think that there's going to be a lot of people that watch it in the Japanese dub with English subtitles just to keep with the vibe that they've always had. And low-key, I think it could be pretty interesting that way too.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like concessions that you have to make in order to,
appease them.
Yeah, to appease them and show them, we're trying something different to make this work. I think that will be very much appreciated. Of course, there's gonna be folks who just say, "Oh, it's live action. I don't want to do it." But like, again, One Piece is not like the sacred text. There are plenty of things that can be jettisoned, and you still keep the same story structure. You still keep all the same characterization, but you just cut the fat on many details or fill them in ways that work for actual humans that can't like bounce around the screen like cartoon characters. And bless what's this guy's name? Godoy, Iñaki Godoy. Like
yeah, Luffy.
Bless that child's heart because he's going to be eating shit online maybe for the rest of his life, no matter what kind of job he does, probably no matter how well the series is received. So to sign up for that, and I know he's passionate personally about One Piece. God bless. Just God bless.
I don't know how well he's gonna do in a serious tone when Luffy gets serious, but I think it's as a jovial, happy
yeah.
Yep.
Luffy, he's just great. He just gives off such a Luffy vibe. He just reminds me so much of him, and I love that. But I think that when shit gets serious, that's when we'll see whether he can be Luffy or not.
Now, the one thing that I do think is lost, and I don't know how they're going to deal with this, is that, for all we want to talk about other series going like crazy with like unwanted fan service, there's very little of that in this series. Like the TV show. Like we're getting Gen 1 Nami with a normal bust size. We're getting you know what I mean? Like this is also a series that's known for,
and we're not getting the Nico Robin anytime soon.
Ever growing bosoms and slinky outfits and variant covers with.
I mean, the woman with the biggest titties gets knocked the fuck out.
That's what I'm saying. So it may be underrated how much the fan service is an important part of the appeal. But we'll see. So I'm just keeping it open mind. Again, bless Emily Red too, because she gonna get it from everywhere. So good luck.
Nami is a lot of people's waifu.
Yeah, good luck. Zoro looks cool though, so I'm down for that.
Yeah, Zoro's hot.
I'm with it.
The gays like it. Gays like it.
I saw the little bit with Buggy, and I'm like, that's kind of what I was expecting.
I actually enjoyed Usopp's performance the most out of everyone from the trailers.
We didn't even really get much of a performance.
He didn't, but he made me laugh. And now was
he did that one little he laughed or chuckled or something, and I was like, So I'm kind of just like, I'm looking forward to seeing more of you, and especially because his little arc. I wonder how long all their little arcs are gonna last. Because I feel like they're gonna combine.
It's gonna be short.
Yeah.
Look what they gotta get to Arlong Park, which means they're probably throwing away.
But I think they're gonna run through the first
stuff with like the fake Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Oh.
They showed
they showed
the
but I'm saying they're gonna have to make it super short. That arc took a long fucking time.
I think in the first episode we're gonna get all of that stuff, and then episode 2 we're gonna jump.
Long?
It's long.
It sure as hell felt like it. I think. Well, so what did we do? We went. Luffy gets Zoro. Luffy beats Alvida. Goes gets Zoro, and then goes gets Usopp. Right.
And then
Nami. And I think low key they might be able to do that in one episode. At most, it's going to be 2.
But that would kind of suck. I feel like Zoro's introduction was really cool.
I heard they're going to do 2 episodes for Baratie, and Baratie is right after, right?
Yeah.
Baratie's right after Arlong, right?
No, before that.
No, before. But they've cast like everybody in Arlong. You look at like
because Nami keeps showing up intermittently.
Yeah, what is the thing that happens right after they get the boat? Yeah, no, they go to Baratie, right? So then Baratie is supposed to be 2 episodes. Or I think that what I noticed is they fight the fishmen in Baratie. So I think they're gonna kind of like intertwine it a little bit.
What?
And
okay.
Yeah. And I think that
you think they might actually end with the Grand Line? Not the Grand Line. I mean,
that's what makes the sense the most.
Intro.
Huh.
Yeah, I think what makes the most sense is that they leave Logtown. And then they're gonna
put the last episode as a glimpse of Chopper.
Yeah,
that would be incredible.
People lose their minds.
That would actually make everyone lose their minds especially if they do it like Rocket Raccoon. Like if it's that level.
Don't put that on there though.
That would be incredible.
Don't be like
they have the money to do it.
Sonic the Hedgehog
animated.
Chopper will make or break this shit.
Ever. Yeah, they do it like that on a Netflix budget, sure.
I mean, why don't we just get like...
Come on,
Netflix has a crazy budget. They just posted a job for what would be like AI product manager for $900,000. They have money.
Okay. Right. Or we're going to get AI art Chopper.
James. Oh my
It's interesting
god.
though that you guys brought up Chopper being like a last scene. That's crazy. I don't know if we're gonna go that far.
They can glimpse him. They can do like the whatchamacallit, like, because as they go into
they might have the grand line out as they go up, and then and then they zoom out and they just go far, boom, 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 boom,
and then they
go
and then
past
they
a bunch
see
of islands,
mm-hmm.
and then it goes to that island, and you see Chopper there. Yeah, I could see that.
They can do Chopper, Vivi.
They can go past Vivi. They can go. Yeah,
they can do Chopper. Vivi,
you mean if they do like one shot to show you?
Yeah, it's
one
just
shot
like
at the very end, right? Like say they're going up the mountain to go to the grand line, and it ends with them like literally at the top where they're right, and that's how they end it.
No, like, I feel like they would probably have homegirl. What's the doctor's name? She like goes into their little house and like cusses at Chopper, and that's like the one little thing.
Like that's the last thing we see of them. It goes up, right? Like they go up, and the last thing we see of our Straw Hats is that when they're up there about to like literally they're at the climax. Peak, whatever, of the mountain, and then it zooms out of them and it starts going past the islands, and it shows us like glimpses of the different things that we see. You know, seeing Vivi.
I wouldn't think it would show the Straw Hats there. I think it would just show the people like on the island, like little like foreshadowing, like Listen, Chopper walking.
I am looking forward to all. I'm looking forward to like the hoofs in the snow and maybe an outline, like something tasteful. I'm looking forward to that. But if I'm being real. If I had to like put money down on it, it would be we're gonna get some absolutely embarrassing Chopper reveal at the end. That's gonna make people very upset.
If Chopper's on the boat and leads them to his island, I will scream.
Are you sure? Because the end of the Cowboy Bebop one, that last scene with
Ed
was basically like. I was like, oh, they're not getting another season after this. Ain't no fucking way. That shit was ass cheeks.
I think that there's the people working on One Piece care a lot about One Piece. So I don't think they're going to do something bad with Chopper.
They care
if they do introduce him at all, I don't know.
But we have no idea what the studio is trying to shop and maneuver and things. I know Oda has been directly involved. And didn't they do like reshooting and shit after the first previews or something? Because it wasn't...
I don't know, maybe.
It wasn't up to snuff.
I have actually high hopes for this. I'm just being honest. Like
I do think it's going to be good.
I don't have high hopes, but I don't have any negativity for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only negativity I do have is like they didn't cast Django, which means we're not getting the moonwalk.
They didn't cast him?
No. I looked it up. There's no evidence of him being cast.
Django, I don't know unless he like
copyrighted Richard.
Unless he's, I don't remember how it all ends, so I don't know if he's like relevant later, but I don't know how relevant he is. Isn't he the scene where they reveal that the Black Cat pirates are in fact like being run by Kuro? It's him coming to the island moonwalking.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then he runs into is it Usopp or Luffy on the beach, and that's like the first actual confrontation while all the other stuff is going down in the town. I'm pretty sure hypnotism shit?
He doesn't run into them. I think it's him talking to Kuro, and then they're up on the mountain and they see him talking to Kuro down there.
But like the first fight, am I misremembering that? Isn't Django the first, like, because he's the first mate, right?
Django does run into Nami and Sanji or something like that.
Okay.
No, not Sanji, but Nami and Zoro.
Yeah.
And then hypnotizes them.
Okay.
No.
I know his power is hypnosis. I don't remember that part of the story. So I don't know. I'm not saying he's like critical to the storytelling, but like if you ask me what I remember from that arc, it's actually him and not Django, so much
really
Kuro. Yeah, it's just because he was so fucking absurd.
Kuro, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That's all.
But hopefully they end all that fast. I think they could do it in one episode, and then they can give us the good shit.
But I don't know.
Because I don't think anything before Baratier is even worth it.
I don't know if like... I mean, I take your point. Like, there's a lot of stuff that...
Oh, actually, I think they're going to give a lot of time to Luffy's backstory. So I don't think so.
But what?
I think that...
Oh my God, are they going to like glimpse Sabo now?
I don't know. I think that they're going to...
If they do that.
I think that they're going to give us like a good chunk of the first episode of that, and then it'll jump into Alvida, and then it'll jump into... getting Zoro, and it'll end with defeating Morgan and getting Zoro to go on to the next. And then episode 2 will be Usopp's stuff, and then hopefully it'll end before episode 2 ends, whatever.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think what is happening is what always happens with like TV adaptations. I don't know if there's a way around it, which is you skim the material, you try to pick the best stuff, and then you try to get to the more interesting pieces. But there's a part of me one day, it's not going to be with One Piece. I want the live action adaptation that fucking wallows in its source material, like a fucking dirty pig, just like gets in there and just like all the little little details, the little everything, just like wallows all the way in it. It's slow as fuck. Like we're not rushing to get anywhere.
Everything.
Yeah. Like it's not this, but something else. Like if they do live action Gundam, I'll give you an example. Like this fucking pissed me off because I'm a mecha person, and for years, like every 2 or 3 years, you get like a report like, oh, this studio has optioned a script for like Macross or Robotech, and in my heart, I'm like, I don't want Tobey Maguire doing any of this shit. I don't want whatever name they put on there, but like deep in my heart, if a mecha series actually gets a live action, for the love of God, just luxuriate in it. Don't try to give me the greatest fucking hits.
A Gundam live action isn't completely crazy because they had that really cool Gundam in Ready Player One. It looked amazing, and it
right. But they always want to like. They always say, "Oh, this is the seminal story," so we're gonna like jam. It even happens with anime movies. It's not like live action is the thing. It's a movie format. Like
I think maybe I don't know. That might be hard, especially with an American audience, because it's just. Quickly, fat. We gotta get your attention. We gotta keep your attention.
I know. But how come we can say that and then Ozark can like drag its feet for 3 fucking seasons before anything important happens?
I don't even know what Ozark is.
Like
I only watch. What's crazy is I'm pretty sure I only watched 3 seasons of it.
I think it's 4.
Does it get crazier? I don't know.
I mean, it does, but like I love Ozark, but Ozark is again like we have this weird mentality where when it comes to non-serious stuff. Like, oh, you gotta just like give me the good shit. But like, what are all the most like prestige stories in American and Western media? A lot of them are just like they spend a lot of time wallowing around in like whatever the milieu
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones exactly. Like we love this shit. We love it.
And like a lot was not really popping off that first season until
until show them some surprise. But anyway, I'm getting off the topic. It's just. I've seen one direction to go. Like Alice in Borderland might be close enough. Like
Alice in Borderland is really good, but I'm not familiar at all with the source material. But it doesn't seem as though they're rushing anything with it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. It didn't feel like they rushed through anything.
It's like there's like moments where like we'll sell this film or we'll sell this adaptation on these 3 scenes that we know all the simps for the series desperately want to see, and if we can promise them that they will see a version of that in this story, then that is all we care about. We don't care about like making this like work even as like a live action. We'll show them in the trailer, look, this is when Luffy goes ham on Lucci, and like that scene is in there, so go watch the fucking movie. And it's like, can we just have a good movie? Just good. Or a good TV. Just focus on that. Making it really, really good. And not so much on tricking people into watching 5 episodes so they can see the reveal of, I don't fucking know, like Arlong's nose. But I digress. I'm actually quite positive. I think I'll be more forgiving of some of the stuff other people will be upset about.
I have so many things I keep thinking of, but I can't say them because you just Joe. All this shit that's gonna happen that you haven't gotten to yet. So I'm like, what if so-and-so shows up? What if this person shows up?
So that's cool.
Oh,
you're at Thriller Bark?
Oh, God bless you.
Bark.
Oh, man.
Good luck with that one.
It's good.
I hear people like it, and I hear people hate it.
It's long.
It's very long.
Okay.
It's long for even the manga. Like, I was like, wrap this shit up, nigga.
It has one of my favorite moments with Usopp. Like
so far, it's the funniest things that I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely
hilarious.
it is the first time I can say in a shonen that like comedy won the fight, and it made me very happy, like epically happy. So that's cool. The end of it with Gecko Moria, and you kind of get like the height of his ability is fine. but there's a moment that happens with another character that's iconic for the series. Like it is absurdly iconic. It's like motherfuckers been talking about that shit for years.
Niggas got it as wallpapers.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
They got it as wallpapers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's a real man moment that happens at the end, and that kind of makes up for the fact that it meanders from like the moment you meet Brooke. It just takes a really long time to get to the actual showdowns that matter.
Yes.
Oof,
yeah.
That sucks.
It does. I mean, I didn't hate it. Again, I think there are better parts that you've already read, and there's also a lot more like meandering shit that comes next. Like everybody likes Wano, but Wano
Sabodi Archipelago.
Wano was too much. I was like, oh, I get it. I get that you've been like loading this one in your ball sack for 10 years. You want to do Japan. You've got all these
Finally
things.
want to shoot it on our face.
Bro,
what the
this
fuck?
guy,
What are you loading in his
you
ball
read
sack?
Wano, it feels like someone who's been jerking off for like a decade to no completion. It's just like it's too fucking much.
Well,
When
they
you
were
get to the
mentioning
end-
Wano since they
They
never
mentioned
mind.
Wano. They mentioned Wano in the end, right after, like right at the end of fuck me, dude. Right at the
Water
end
7?
of yes,
Or
at the
Ines
end.
Lobby or whichever. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of Ennie's lobby, like after talking to Garp, or maybe during talking to Garp, I don't remember, but right around that area is when they mentioned Wano, and I was like, oh shit, that's Wano. So
I
it's kinda
completely
They were
forgot about
jerking
that
it.
shit.
Yo.
They didn't say much. They just said like they just mentioned Wano.
How
Kingdom,
many
or just they
years
mentioned
did the Wano arc last? Was it 4 years?
Damn.
The last time that I was up to date on the manga was like 2018, 19.
Had they gotten to Wano at that
Yeah.
point?
No, I think they were still whole cake.
Okay, all right. So maybe it lasted like
It
I think
lasted a long
4
time.
years. I think
It's
it
4
lasted like
years.
4 years of change. It just ended like last year. You know what I mean? Like it was too much. Whole cake was too much. Like
Whole Cake?
could
I fucking hated whole cake.
Whole
Oh
cake
my
was. I mean, there was some like shit I liked about
It
I'm
could
not
have
saying I didn't-
whole cake could have actually been cut into like 1/3.
bro. Whole cake could have been
It could have been 1/3.
30 chapters. Could have been 40 chapters.
Okay, Joe.
No, I'm just ready. I'm ready to just. pop
No,
this
we
shit out,
no we
just
we
in
didn't
case.
say anything. We were just talking about the
No,
length.
I'm just talking about
Yeah,
length
yeah.
and not about things that happen. Just like
yeah.
there-
We're not
there's
gonna
a-
say anything that happened.
I just
there's
gotta be careful.
like Oda. I love this man. He is not joking when he talks about like, oh, I've had this shit planned out for 15 years. Like, I believe you, bro. You do not have to prove it to me. I get it. But what he will always do, and you see this, I think probably
July 2nd, 2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew
okay.
it because I was like,
It's
it's
like
been a
4
minute
years.
since I caught up and I didn't start Wano and it's still been going on. Yeah.
I
That's
blame
when it
I
started.
blame Water 7 for this, but it's not
Oh.
but it's like for reasons that are good, but it's Water 7's fault. Because in Water 7, he started playing around with this story structure where you go to a place and then you ping pong around inside
Yeah.
of it, but the actual end of whatever that story is doesn't get there until you go somewhere else. And that's exactly
The
what
sagas.
happened.
That's what people said. Sagas. So
Yeah,
Wano
like-
is a saga, but it's also an arc.
Right, because it's weird when people say, "Oh, the Eminence Lobby arc." Eminence Lobby doesn't make any sense without Water 7. Like they're the same.
Exactly.
It is
yeah.
the same
It's-
story.
It's like Water 7 / Enos Lobby. That's
Yeah,
what
part
I've always
two.
It's the
considered
Water 7 saga, but it breaks into Water 7 and then the Ines Lobby arc.
right. Like
Yeah.
that is the reason why this shit has gotten dragged out. Because like once he realized that like that story structure worked very well for his gigantic cast of characters, every single arc that has come afterwards has followed the exact same way. Like, you go to a place, you ping pong around in that place, you meet the big bad, but then you don't do the confrontation, you hold it, they do something fucking wacky, and then you come back. Like the literally like the characters will often leave and then fucking come back, and then you do the finale. But like every time it's gotten longer and longer and longer and longer. Like Alabasta may have been like a structural prototype, but the length, like
Yeah.
the fact that was like 100% Water 7 plus Ennis Lobby. So like I loved what they wound up doing with Wano, but I cannot tell you the number of weeks where it's like this motherfucker. I almost said another word. This motherfucker had the gall to put a map where they'll be like where it's like, okay, all the Straw Hats come in as a group. I'm like, great, we don't have to split up and do 8 different stories. And then the next week, same map, like they are literally spread all over the place. And I'm like, oh fuck, we're like it's gonna take up like 8 months for each one of them.
Yeah,
like
that does seem to be what it is. He does break them up into all these. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Well, I'm bitching and moaning, but like, in fact, that depth, that's what I want to see out of like TV and movie. Like, just say fuck it. Why are you trying to go cheap? Go all in. There's 1,000 chapters. I want to see hundreds of television episodes. Bitch, like let's go. Like they don't have the balls for this.
They don't. It is a really big undertaking. And Netflix doesn't have that good of a track history, but something's better than nothing. At least they're trying it. So
yeah.
You know,
I hope it works out well.
And just because they're doing it now doesn't mean that someone can't come 10 years down the line and basically be like, okay, we're really going to turn this shit out.
Oh shit! Actually, wait before I get off that, it's related to what you just said, Jordan. So, Joe, are you ready to live long enough to see full-on remakes of like 200, like Naruto when Naruto gets its like Naruto Kai, but like for real, reanimated? Oh, it's true to the manga remake. Are you ready for that?
I would love to. Yeah. There's plenty of shit that deserves it, right?
Bleach needs it.
Tokyo Ghoul, please. Tokyo Ghoul, please. Because everyone tells me how amazing Tokyo Ghoul is, and the anime is just like...
the manga is way better.
So do that for me. Do Tokyo Ghoul for me.
But you
redo Bleach, get rid of all that fucking filler. Redo Naruto, get rid of that filler. Redo One Piece,
We're gonna die for that. No. We gonna die for that. I would say I would not be surprised if I hit. Well, no, I'm gonna hit my 40s before that shit ends. I know that much. At this
crazy.
Rate,
I think it's.
I'll probably
One
be
Piece.
like
I think it's
brand new 40.
Oh, maybe.
When One Piece
I think because it's gonna probably. I think it'll end in like 8 years,
and then we're gonna get a spinoff.
It's too much money.
That'd be cool.
They're not. It is literally. Well,
you'll be even cooler.
It's going to be the new Dragon Ball. It is like.
You know what's going to be even cooler?
It's just boiling right cool. now.
If Oda does another series that's just as good, that would be crazy.
That nigga too old.
Nah, he could do it.
I am not having another Hunter x Hunter. No.
Listen, Togashi's got gotcha games to play. I don't know what you're talking about.
And I mean, he has his health, and I understand that
man is a full cripple.
Yeah, like, and that's why the gotcha games are easy. One finger. Yeah. The gotcha games are easy. But my God, I would not. I can't do it because.
Could you have ChatGPT write the end of Hunter x Hunter? Is that possible?
Oh my God.
Ooh. I wonder how good it would be.
You fed it the entire script. Could it just write the end? And just
get
Gashi out of here.
Oh God. I know he knows. He knows what it is, and he knows what to tell them and how things are gonna go. I know it's up there, but he just wants to do it himself. Is that what it is?
This man is
yeah. Well, there's a big thing in Japan where they have like a weird thing. It's just a weird thing in Japan where they're like, no, I have to do it. It's me. I have this responsibility. I have a responsibility to do this. Same thing with work. There's like a crazy work responsibility.
You better finish that shit.
I would
no matter
love
what.
it if he just
you know what we could have had right
now? Did the shittiest little boop 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 like stick figures like and just said like this is kind of what I want.
Did you ever read the manga? He actually did that for like months.
But I want somebody. I want him to, or maybe he doesn't even do that. Maybe he just dictates. Like I kind of want.
At this time, we should have like a time skip Gon and Killua, like hands down, hands down. We should have a time skip.
We should have a Shippuden.
Or we should have Hunter Daddy or something, or Daddy, like something like whatever. We should have a prequel. With fucking dad, with Gin.
Oh yeah, with Jing Freaks.
We should have a prequel, and we should have a sequel already. We should already be there, but we're not. Awesome. Them niggas are just. I'm still where the anime is at, and I know it's way beyond that. Like I know they have just, the world has just.
I read
like
the
exploded.
whatever they'll do next, but I didn't. I was trying to read because basically the next thing they do is a fight between Crollo and
Hisoka. Child molester.
And then after that they have this fucking arc.
Oh, Hisoka.
I think going to the dark continent. Yeah. And it's basically Kurapika on this boat, and there's like this whole like succession thing, and it's really interesting. But bro, I got to this one fucking panel or one page. It was a page where it's literally just fucking a novel, bro. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not right. I'm done. So,
see, and now they got the spiders finally doing stuff, and like that's coming to a head. And
I feel like we could get another 12 episode season, just 12 episodes. I feel like they could give us something.
Yeah, we could.
I think that they could give us I think that we could get at least like some OVA type shit for the fight between Crollo and Hisoka. That should be coming soon.
Bananas. Absolutely crazy.
So.
Well, I think we'll revisit One Piece and its live action flailings when the
if there was a remake. I would love to see a remake. Of all the remakes, I think my favorite remake was Hunter x Hunter's remake.
Well, so that was going to be our question, which is, and it's good because actually it dovetails everything we talked about. So for this week, we want to ask y'all. What is your favorite remake? And we're going to define a remake as not a sequel, but a retelling of an original story in anime. So it could be, something that came from a manga, but like it had a season, and then that story gets told again in a titular remake, even if it's something like, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where it starts in a different place, but it is still telling more or less the manga story and not the anime only story. So we mentioned, Joe just mentioned Hunter x Hunter, to be disambiguated from its 90s story, which only got to the battle tower, right? Is that where it ended?
I don't know, but
York knew it did some of York knew. I think that's where it fell off. It did not get to the
I'm glad it got a remake though. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was great. It was actually, the original was also very good. Like let's not front. Like great animation. I think the music was really, really good, but it did not finish because Togashi was on hiatus, and therefore they ran out of material. So that's a great example. I think like for me, I'm gonna go a little off the beaten path. It's Casshern Sins. The Casshern story is actually quite old. The first anime version of Casshern was made in the 70s, I think, and that story was just about like a post-apocalyptic world where humans and robots or androids kind of live together, and there was a sort of a messiah-like female android who was assassinated, which then leads to this like rot, this like global ruin of all machines. And of course, like the human beings were also, many of them were slaughtered. So there's very few of anything left alive. And Casshern was the character that was sort of the murderer of that messiah character, and was living in this wasteland. And it was sort of like a revenge story, sort of like a lost amnesiac type of story. But Casshern Sins was a remake of that original television anime that I guess was produced. Was it 2011? It was a little bit earlier than that. Fantastic. Like everything that's good about that story. And I've seen many versions of it. There've been live action TV series, there've been movies that were kind of okay, not great. But Casshern Sins, I think, hit this sweet spot of like feeling retro, but the character designs were so iconic, and they managed to like update a lot of them, and it had this like just depressing but still like very compelling emotional undertone. And I actually saw this before I knew that there was like that this franchise had existed prior to this entry. I thought it was just like something new to watch, and then once I found it and I watched the live action movie, kind of got a better appreciation for the themes and the ideas, and that this anime actually did it the best. So I put my stamp on Casshern, though there are plenty of others that folks may know. Jordan, do you have a remake that you find particularly compelling? Or
Fruits Basket.
ooh, you just watched that?
I haven't finished it.
Oh,
I
thought your people were yelling at you to finish that one.
Oh yeah, and that's what's deterring me because I'm just like, you don't run shit, bitch. But you know, I do need to finish it. I do need to finish it. It's one thing for people to tell me to finish it. It's another thing for them to like
demand it.
It's demanding it, but it's also like they'll show up on other shows and they'll be like, I just don't understand why you can watch this and you have all this time and you're only doing this, and it's like, oh bitch. Well, guess what? Fuck you. I'm not watching it because you want it so bad. Fuck you.
You should just watch it.
I think I watched the first season of the remake. I think I watched the original forever ago with my sister.
Yeah, I saw a bit of the original when it came out, and I was like, "This is cute." You know, I'll come back to it. But the remake of Fruits Basket, like, I've just been tuned the fuck in, like, just hardcore. Because also the source material was finished, so they knew exactly where they were going in all senses. And I think they also have like a prequel, like mini OVA, like kind of thing that also came out, but I have enjoyed every fucking moment of that remake, like completely, like absolutely. Like it definitely grabbed me much quicker. And well, you know, of course, the production wise and everything, like, but all around, it's just been amazing. Like, you know, I don't cried and all that kind of stuff. So it's a testament to the source material itself. But as far as remakes go, that, and I mean, if it wasn't for Fruit, it'd be Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, because I did, and I've said it on this show before, I'm not the biggest fan of where the original Fullmetal Alchemist went.
I think most people can agree with that.
And so when Brotherhood came out, I was like, is this a sequel? Blah, 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 blah. And they're like, no, it's connected to the manga because the original went off and I was like, that explains why it got really weird in the end, because it just didn't seem like a proper sequence of events to me as to what happened with them in like that big city and all kinds of shit like that. Now, did I enjoy watching it? I enjoyed watching it on Adult Swim, shit like that, late at night. Yeah, it was fun. But Brotherhood demolished it. Like, fucking demolished it. Music, Sakuga, aesthetic. I mean, of course, plot, because it was directly
character development, like greed.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes, like it was just so much better. Like the homunculi, like, not that they didn't, the homunculi felt so menacing, and just like there was definitely a sense of just like powerlessness where I was like, how are these niggas gonna actually like do this? Because I wasn't expecting the homunculi. Like, I just thought, you know, oh, they move in the shadows and they're doing things. And then Brotherhood is like, they actually run this shit, nigga. Like they run your organism. They run all of this shit. Like, all
I
of
wish
it.
We got more time in the North, man. That shit was crazy.
Oh, that was so good. But then I also liked how they basically like made niggas pay for shit. When Roy lost his vision, I was gagged.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shit. What do you mean?
Roy had some fucking moments. Oh,
like, yeah, like it eclipsed the original anime production. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, if it weren't for Fruits Basket, it would be that. Actually, probably both. Actually, you know what? No, it is Brotherhood. It's Brotherhood over Fruits Basket. Yeah, it's Brotherhood over Fruits Basket. That's probably gonna be a lot of people's things. That along with like Hunter x Hunter. But
I'm gonna be real. I don't even think I really saw anything from the original Hunter x Hunter. I just seen some like clips. I think that's
it. May be a little before a lot of people's time because it came out in the late 90s.
Late 90s, yeah. I went back to like look at it a bit before starting the like 2011 like remake. And I was like, okay, I definitely see, like, because I think, how far did it get? It didn't get that far.
It got, I think, to York New.
Yeah. Okay, so it got to York New. So, yeah.
I mean, you know what's really feels bad? Like, if you really want to feel old, that we're about as far away from the debut of the 2011 Hunter x Hunter as it was from the, I think it was a 97 or 98 remake.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I'm glad we got it.
Yeah, me too.
I think that there's more things that I want to see remakes for than things that have gotten remakes. There's like a lot. Like, I would love. there's two series that I really want remakes for. I mean, I know I mentioned Tokyo Ghoul, but I don't really have like an attachment to it. The thing that I need a remake of is Slam Dunk.
Oh
that would be
my
amazing.
god!
Oh my god! Okay, we gotta end the fucking episode.
Yo,
oh my god!
Addendum to the question: series you want to get remade? Because goddamn, Slam Dunk fucking put me on a different level of existence.
Slam Dunk is amazing. Slam Dunk.
Y'all
The
about
other
to
thing
start
that
a
I want a remake for.
Combo Slam Dunk.
The other thing I want a remake for, but I haven't even seen the original for, is just like I tried to start an episode and I just can't because it's so fucking ugly. Is Monster.
Oh,
booty.
People aren't gonna like me saying it.
The booty signal.
people aren't gonna like me saying it. So far, everybody's hated the fact that I said it, like watching the Pluto trailer and stuff. But I don't want to watch something in 480p. Like I just don't want to.
That's
like
fair.
It could be an amazing story, but it's in 480p. Like, bro, there's so much shit that just looks so much better. Like, why? I don't care how great the story is. If anything, I'll just read the manga, but I'm not going to read the manga because I make this type of content, reaction content. So it doesn't make sense for me to read the manga when there's a great story that I can watch an anime of, but I don't want to watch the anime because it looks bad. And so it's just, and I understand like everything else is great with it. Can we just like reanimate it? Like,
then I want
everything else the
Tenchi
same.
Muyo remade.
Just literally just reanimate. That's it.
I want Tenchi Muyo remade with a lot more crazy shit.
So one thing that I've noticed, which kind of like, it's a difference between Japan and America, and I've ranted about a version of this before, so I'm not going to reiterate too much of myself, but there are a lot of franchises, especially anime franchises, that became popular. Like they may have started out for their time relatively popular, but they were not necessarily big money makers. But you know how TV goes. You produce a season of something or many episodes, you look at the ratings, you come back, you make more, you look at the ratings, you come back and make more. And that was like the pattern up until maybe like the 2000s. And so we have things like the original Gundam, the Dragon Ball, any of these, even One Piece and Naruto kind of fall into the televised category of just like going on and on and on because they increasingly grew in popularity. But I also think that has created this thing where there's a lot of franchises that I would love to see like totally remade, that in Japanese business culture, they're so big that no one is willing to commit to it, even though it's obvious that you spend money to make money. Like my biggest pet peeve, because I'm a mecha person, is that the original Gundam has not been remade, and in particular Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z have not been remade. Mostly because these are franchises that have made so much money for their respective businesses that it almost boggles the mind that it has been in some cases 50 plus years since the instigating series became a thing, and yet there's like, I guess, almost like fear of just do a fucking shot for shot if that really is the problem. But like Dragon Ball bothers me because you could make a new standard for action anime by just reviving original Dragon Ball even, and just giving it a modern, it doesn't have to be Super, the movie. It doesn't have to be the Broly movie, level of quality. Just normal TV standards. If UFO Table can like go ham, why can't Toei? Doesn't make any sense. Would print money. But I desperately want original Gundam to come back, and it's nothing more frustrating in my life than to see like, oh, our anniversary is the literal worst episode of all time in the Gundam series turned into a whole fucking movie, and the movie is awesome, and then they're like, yeah, we're not doing any more of that. Like, what the fuck? Why did we get a Kukuru's Doan's Island Gundam movie? Who was this made for? Who? Nobody asked for this. We want you to just remake the good shit. Why were you remaking the bad shit? I don't get it. So please, somebody out there, just slap a Japanese CEO until they. Also, go watch Gundam Thunderbolt. That's another good one, and it's short. So I guess that is our topics. Does anybody have a recommendation that they would like to drop on the audience before we get out of here.
Whoa.
Link click. Go watch it. Link click. I recommend it a lot. Link click. Link click. Go watch Link click.
Jordan, you got anything?
Oh, I've played so much. Oh, Dave the Diver is really fun.
Oh, I've heard.
And obsessive, and I like no lifed it, and it was really fun. But anime wise, I I recommend everyone to go and search a specific trailer. Don't watch it around people that you would not want to watch other things around. But yeah, basically, shit, I gotta find the fucking name again. Hold on 1 second. Oh my god.
Is it a game?
It's not a game. It's something you can watch tonight.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, wait, you can't. It's a PV. It's a PV. It's basically fuck. Okay. I literally had it bookmarked. Fuck you, Elon.
Well, I'll go while you're trying to figure it out.
Okay.
My recommendation is a new-ish manhwa that I picked up while I was vacationing doing Denver things in Denver. It's called The 31st Piece Overturns the Board. It is sort of kind of an isekai, but not quite. The concept is that the main character has been plagued with a repetitive dream since he was a small child, where he is transported to a room with other masked people, and they are playing what's effectively like a big D&D campaign. And he has this repetitive dream until he's like in his like 20s, and nobody believes him. They think he's this crazy person like talking about his recurring dream, so he just doesn't talk about it. And at the end of maybe 15 years or 16 years of having the same dream, he goes to bed,
wins,
and it's finally the final chapter of this story where he's informed that the character that he's been playing in the party, and he's played multiple characters, many of them have died along the way, but this character is finally the first one that party has ever gotten together that can achieve something called ascension. But he's not told what that means, and so they play the game. He fails. That character dies because his run of very good luck with the dice has ended, only to have it revealed in his mind that all the other players in that game were all gods, and that the ascension, his failure to achieve ascension with this character, unmasks him as a mortal. And at that moment, the game in his dream ends, and he is basically thrown back into the real world and cursed by these gods as like an imposter. And when he wakes up, the world of the game that he was playing is now a world in which all the people of the world have been transported into. And as he goes along, he realizes that his memory of like how to get through the different parts of the game doesn't quite line up. And in fact, that's because time has progressed in this world 20 years, and all the characters he thought were just characters were in fact real beings that have all died. And so he is racked with guilt because he was basically playing with like people's lives, but he kind of resolves to get revenge on those gods and reclaim a lot of the memories of these characters that he put a lot of time into. So I thought that the setup for that was like really interesting. I thought that it does boil down to like your kind of
so interesting
revenge fantasy, but the way in which his own unreliable memory plays into the sort of like I don't want to say, it's not guilt, it's that he's trying to basically make amends for playing with lives like they were toys in a game. And so the animation's pretty good. The writing, I think, is pretty on point. It's another series from ChuChu. So if you're familiar with some of their other work, you'll notice that like they have some of the same artists on that team. But I think the way this story is going, it's less about like combat and stacking up stats and everything else, and more about like learning of the lives of these characters that you didn't get to meet because it was kind of glossed over as part of his 18 years as like a member of like a divine D&D group. And because there's like a revenge aspect, it does feel pretty satisfying as the character kind of reclaims those lives that he feels like he took, and then starts to get in a position where he can get revenge on these gods. There's some other intrigue, but I like where it's going. It's about 21 or 22 chapters are out so far, and I think it's based on a web novel in Korean, which I'm not going to read. So I'm just happy to go week to week with this one. Seems pretty fun.
That sounds dope.
Yep. Jordan, did you find your
Yes. It's called JK's Villainess Reincarnation in Another World. Misery.
I like the last word,
Misery with like little squiggles. Watch it and don't watch it. Watch it with your headphones on and not around other people. Because I watched it and I was like, oh, another villainess. Oh,
people getting their backs broken.
Oh, I sent y'all a clip, so you guys can watch it. And you can see. But I DM'd you guys the clip. But yeah, I do. There's a very it's basically ridiculous production. So like this. Okay, just we'll come back to it another week after you've seen.
Okay. All right.
After you've seen it, we'll come back to it. But the rest of you all, just search that up on Google's, Twitter, somewhere. The trailer is out there. It's out there. Okay, it's out there. And it looks really cool. Action, and then something else at the 23-second mark.
Oh no.
So.
Oh no.
Yeah, but that's all. That's all.
All right, cool.
So, Joe, did you wanna do your thingy now?
I'm too chill.
I'm looking for that 23-second mark.
Oh.
Oh,
I see it. Oh, shit.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh? Live reaction to whatever that was.
Yeah. The animation is crazy. It looks great.
Yeah.
That shit looks really good.
But I was not expecting that part to pop up in the video.
Holy shit.
Holy
shit.
Well.
I don't know how it made it to my side of Twitter, but it did. So I was like, ooh, everybody got to see this. This is nice.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Fascinating.
Everybody should go check that out. It's kind of weird that you're like, I know it's something you can watch tonight.
I mean, the full, you can't watch the full version. You can watch the trailer.
Factual.
But yeah. But yeah, Joe, did you want to let everyone know where to find you?
Oh, yeah. Go,
this is the first time.
Check me out on YouTube, on TikTok. I mean, I have a Twitter, but fuck Twitter.
I mean, X,
YouTube, TikTok,
X Twitter, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, whatever the fuck they're calling it, whatever weird thing. I'm gonna start.
We're all going to hell on this app.
Exiting people.
I
don't know. Zeeting. Yeah. Am I eating people? I'm
I hate it. I hate everything about this.
Yeah. Freshest Anime, YouTube, Freshest Anime on TikTok, and find me on Twitch. I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday. JoeFreshest.
Nice.
And you can find us on it's still called Twitter, so we're gonna say it Twitter, but anime_savants on Twitter. And then you can find us just regular Anime Savants on YouTube, where you can watch the episode. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can find us on Blue Sky Social if you're on there also. And we're not on Spill because we don't know where people are going.
Yeah,
so we'll fit whenever everyone decides, we'll show up. Okay, but there.
Yep, I'm still just on Twitter, at Neural Handshake, and yeah, I don't know. This app is going to hell, and we're going with it. So we'll figure out what we need to do to reach out to people still if it really does collapse. But for now, that's where we're at.
Go.
All right. Well, if that is all, then peace out, y'all.
Bye.
Why are you playing with scissors?
Oh. What? Because they're here. Okay.